right, everyone. It is the Thursday Night Forum. We are back. I think it's been 8 days. It was Wednesday of last week. We went through the fixture schedule, and I think things are slowing down, Alonso. This is grinding. This summer is grinding for us.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun watching Euros. Keeping us busy with doing stuff and thinking about transfers and rumors and all that stuff. And we need some Arsenal in our lives, right? But so far the tournament's been doing pretty good for us and keeping us busy as far as analysis and all that stuff. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Gary, welcome in as well. It's been 8 days since we were on. We gave everyone Father's Day off, so I hope everyone, Father's Day, happy Father's Day to those who were with us and those who are not with us. And, it's equally respected to those who cannot be with us on this planet and those we've lost. So we took a moment, we took some time, Gary, and we're back.
Yep. Hope everybody enjoyed their weekend. I know everybody's enjoying the Euros. It's been entertaining, especially that last set of games were pretty entertaining. So I hope you're all enjoying that. Arsenal transfer window is doing what it usually does, which is nothing. So there's not much to talk about, but there's a lot to talk about. So
Gary, I always think about that Beatles song, "A Long and Winding Road." And that's what Arsenal's summer transfer business is going to be like. But, we have a little bit of a bet going, right, Gary?
You said how many days do we have left?
We have till July 16th.
Okay.
It's quite a few weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
Hopefully you're hoping Ben White is that little pebble at the top of the snow-capped mountain, and it's just going to roll down and get bigger and bigger. That's what you're hoping. Hello, Steve.
No ball will roll.
Hello,
so, Stephen, thanks for joining us. We understand, the summer, Alonso, things are dragging. We have the Euros to keep us going. And as Gary alluded to, I think you alluded to, Alonso, some good games there. So that's keeping us going, but not a lot going on with Arsenal. But there was some news today with Ben White, as Gary talked about just there.
Yeah. Gary, you want to go on it or you want me? Okay.
Go ahead.
So it's kind of encouraging if you're a fan of signings and if you want a big name, so to speak, to come in. I think Ben White would be a good signing, but he's still very young as well, which can be a benefit to us, but also can be a downfall a little bit because if this guy makes mistakes, you have to be patient with him. On the downside, we have Saliba, who has done pretty well back in France. So it's a head scratcher, really, because we've been waiting for Saliba for a while now, and to make an impact, and not even make an impact, but an instant impact as well. And then when Ben White comes in, you're like, well, what the heck is going on here? So maybe there's lack of belief in Saliba, or maybe there's just something in Ben White that Saliba doesn't have, which I think is kind of interesting. But maybe we're doing it for an English purpose, because we do need more English players on the team, I think, in my opinion. So, who knows what's going on, but, whatever happens, I wish whoever the best,
Yeah, I'm going to say something that's going to get Gary going here. Who knows, Alonso said. There's only one person in the world, maybe two people in the world know what's going to happen, Gary, and that would be Edu and Mikel Arteta.
You said they know what's gonna. They don't know. They don't know.
They have a plan.
Their plan is to throw it up and see how it lands. It's like an artist who's throwing paint onto a blank canvas. Sometimes it looks really good, but it doesn't really matter because people are buying that anyways, right? So no matter what he does, people are still buying it, right? They'll still buying it. It could look ugly. It could be a masterpiece. It doesn't matter. They've got us. We're buying this artwork no matter what it looks like. So they got us.
Sorry. Huh? It's going to be abstract.
Hey,
That is
Gary, but I do end up Picasso, man.
Hey, you know what? Maybe he is. Maybe he is, right? And we just don't know it.
So,
A couple of years from now,
Gary,
we'll look back and go, you know what? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Gary, do you want White or would you rather that money go towards midfielder? Of course, I think all three of us would say our number one priority this summer window is a midfielder, right?
That's what you know what? I was 100% there before, but now I'm like thinking, you know what? I did the Cardinals thing. I did look at some YouTube videos of him playing, and the one thing that he resembles, he's accurate with his long passing from the back line, right? And who was doing that before, right?
Probably.
Right. So if that's what they're looking to get out of one of their center backs, then he would be a good candidate for that. What he doesn't bring, and we all wanted, is probably some more. We all talk about proven PL experience, but I think we need some seniority, some leadership. Actually, just correct that. We need some leadership,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be lacking on that back line, no matter who we put, unless Tierney, I think, is allowed to come out of his shell. I think he's being held back, but I think if he's allowed to kind of like, he's captained teams before, if he can at least captain the back line, then hopefully that will help things along. But usually you want somebody in the middle, right? You want somebody in the center, in a center back position to do that, and we don't have that right now. We've got 5 center backs. None of them we can consider a leader back there. So that's
if you don't have leaders across the dressing room, then Kieran Tierney, who will be a natural leader in time, if not already, and if Granit Xhaka moves on, I've talked about this before. If Granit Xhaka moves on, I think that gives some space, some room for Tierney to expand in that role and take on that thing. Because I'm seeing from the outside that Granit Xhaka commands a lot of respect from his fellow players in the dressing room, and Kieran Tierney, I feel, is not quite there in terms of feeling the seniority in the team. If Granit Xhaka moves on, he could probably feel like that, Gary. Feel like he can take that on that extra responsibility.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping that they've had those discussions already. I'm hoping Arteta's had that discussion. Hello, everyone in the chat. I see we
Hi,
said
Darren.
hi to Steven. We got Darren in now.
So
Dazzy,
everyone
Dazzy
watching,
boy.
check in with us. It's really great to have people checking in again with us. We understand it is the summer, and a lot of people check out from Arsenal, and understandably so. Alonso, the end of the season, people were saying they're done with this season. They didn't want to see any more Arsenal. They wanted a break. I was exactly the opposite. I wanted more games, but that's just people are different, right?
Yeah, and I think what also hurts, right, is that we had all season, right, and up until last game we had fans in the stadium, and I think out of us fans who aren't in England and London don't experience that. So when we see on TV the audience and the crowd supporting Arsenal, it kind of means a lot to me as a fan sitting at home because we get to experience that the chants and the roars that if somebody scores, it's a good time. So I wanted to experience more of the fans in the stadium more so than anything else this past season, and unfortunately we didn't see that until the last game, which they won, which was good, and you saw that energy from the players on the pitch and the supporters as well when they scored the goals. So yeah, I'm winning more games as well. Yeah, I mean, of course.
Shout out to Brownie. Listen, just turn down the volume, Brownie. He'll be fine. Keep us on. You're trying to sleep. We might actually. I don't know if we're going to let him sleep though. We've got a few controversial things coming up here. Darren's still got his broken ankle, so please get better, Darren. Playing football, I've seen a few players in the Euros that I'd love to see join us, and that's the thing. We're seeing a lot of players. We can't go and get all of them, but there's a lot of players in the shop window there. Steven said I'd like Saliba to get a chance and mold him into this brilliant defender that he's supposed to be going to be. But Gary, Ben White, he did initiate a lot of play out from the back. I think that this is the reason why Arsenal are going for Ben White at a premium price, close to 50 million. I have to believe there's more money in the coffers than go and get those midfielders that we're going to need. But Brighton, Brighton benefited from Ben White initiating a lot of attacks, and he could be good for us. He could be a lot like David Luiz in carrying the ball out from the back.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I did take a look at the YouTube videos to see, and and it did look really good. I mean, long passes to the corners, keep it away from the goalkeeper, straight down. Some of them right down the middle, timed perfectly so that the goalie can't get out in time. So if that's what he's going to bring, then yeah, I'll take it. But like you said, is if that's our big signing in the sense that you only get one signing in the midfield, I feel like we've fallen short on our at least my goals for what we were going to do. We need more than one person to fill that middle in terms of new players coming in.
Gary, I got to believe there's more money there if we're spending 50 million. Albeit a right central defender, it's been a problem area for us alongside Hector Bellerin. Early part of the season, we struggled on our right side of defense.
Yeah, I mean, we were able to be okay there, right? I mean,
just okay. We were creaking a lot in those November, December games with Holding and Bellerin together.
Yes,
we lived that. We lived those games.
Yeah, yes, we did. Yeah, that combination did not help, and it kind of It'd be nice to see some. I mean, I think we need some improvements, be it players that we already have that we haven't played yet, like Saliba or Ben White. But like you said, I mean, I can't. I'll be surprised when I see it that you spend 50 million on Ben White. I guess I would say this early in the transfer window for Arsenal, because we typically don't get these types of deals done if they're going to get done. It's supposed to be done within a week, is my understanding, right? To me, it should be. If the money's right, then it should be done. I don't understand. You know what I mean? I think they were off by 5 million. At that point, when you're off by 5 million, just finish it up. If you're off by 10 million, then I could see that being a sticking point. But I think it's just the 5. So, you know what? If this answers some of the questions that they have, they should just go ahead and do it and then move on to the next one, because they have. I don't feel like they can multitask. Right? I think they're just singular, and that's what I think. I doubt it, but that's what it seems like. Every time we have a player, we go through a couple of cycles of reporting on them, and then either it dies down, or in this case, it's continued. Right? Ben White just came. It seemed to come out of nowhere, and it's still continuing to go. And we're not hearing much about the other players that we were looking at. Right? Onana. Right? I think Lakanga. I think he's still. I think Lakanga is still somebody that's in the back, is right there behind Ben White in terms of presence. Basuma hasn't come up much recently.
Neves as well, Gary.
Yeah, Neves is that's gone. Right, I haven't heard anything about that. That's
it'll be dependent on Granit Xhaka leaving, and Granit Xhaka leaving is stalled a little bit.
No. You can have, if Granit Xhaka wants to stay, he can, but he may not be starting. That's all.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't start anymore, and everybody said if he stayed, he would be a backup on. If this was a team striving for top 4, he's not starting for Arsenal. Not with what I think he brings right now. He's a good solid bench squad player. Right?
Neves coming in will be dependent on Granit Xhaka going out, right?
For monetary reasons, but not really for football reasons. For me, it's all about the football reasons, right? Supposedly they have 250 million. It shouldn't matter if they sell Xhaka right now, right? It might matter for filling the depth that they want to fill in later, but for now, I want to get a starting 11. I want to be able to. I want to be able to sit down like on July 16th, and go, all right. Here is our starting 11.
Yeah, and July 16th, for anyone who's just joined us and is new to the channel, is the private bet that I've got going on with Gary. I said by July 16th we would have the majority of our signings done.
Well, isn't that bet like me and Gary and you and Tony?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get through a couple of comments here. Ben White would be handy, says Darren. My surname is White. Gets the same surname as an Arsenal player on my shirt. LOL. Anu, thanks for joining us, Anu. Ben White is a Rob Holding 2.0. It finally does cost 50 million. We're sorry it costs 50 million, but it is, which Wenger always mentioned. Good going forward, but terrible tracking back and stopping a counter attack by opponents. Remember Mustafi.
Well, exactly. That's what's so funny is like the first video that came out was a Mustafi move from Ben White. It was perfect. I mean, I'm gonna say he's young, and that's why we're gonna go with that one. But he does have more promise going forward than Rob Holding. So that's so we'll have to take that as a positive, and then the negatives are, like you said, the tracking back, the defensive. I find it weird that we're talking about a center back and defense is where he struggles. Usually it's probably coming forward and pushing the ball up the field and stuff that you have from your defenders. If they're truly defenders, he's coming in without that being kind of his strong point, right? Which why? Saliba actually has probably more. I think he has more of a defensive presence than he does on offense. I think he has actually both, but they're just raw right now, right?
This is very true, Darren. New season will be no excuses towards Arteta. And I'm one of his ardent supporters, but I'm sitting here. I said it before, and I'll say it again. We should be in the Champions League. We should have won the Europa League. Looking at how poor that Manchester United team was in the final, we should have been there in the final. We would have had a fighting chance of beating them. And
when you don't play your best 11, that's what you get.
Or if you don't have a viable left back option that's better than
we had one.
Yes,
we had everybody. We had one. So in that scenario, we had an emergency left back who would have probably done the job. And if he didn't, you could have switched him out and moved him upfield and maybe brought in Xhaka to finish off things if it really meant that
one
much.
One of the few things, Gary and I agree on a lot of things. We disagree on a lot of things, but that's one of the things we agree on, Gary. Yeah. The option was right there, Gary. The option had been tried and tested for a full season, maybe half a season, with Bukayo Saka, and that's going to be a large part of the show tonight as well. So Alonso, no excuses for Arteta next season. I actually feel quite confident that we can possibly hit the ground running, but we got to build around what we have already in the team.
Yeah, and like I said before, like we have to somehow continue the momentum that we did last year. We went out of Europe, but we finished 5 games in a row, which we haven't had happen in a long time. And it's up to Arteta to run with that momentum, and he has to decide his best 11 because last year he used too many combinations, and it kind of hurt. I think, in my opinion, it hurt the team moving forward, and we didn't find the right combination until last part of the season, which kind of angered a lot of people, and there's no continuity with that, and so there's got to be different ways to win games, and we were close enough for Europe, but we didn't do good enough in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, every team, Alonso's going to look around and say, well, we dropped points here, there, everywhere. But I think Arsenal, more than most teams, and we did a podcast, anywhere between 6 and 15 points is what we came up with in terms of points dropped. Even 6 points would have gotten us into Europe comfortably, Gary, do you think paying 50 million, as Stephen has said, will open up the mindset that other teams will want to charge top dollar, top pound, top euro for our other targets?
That's the thing that I don't understand. Everybody else is struggling in the world. Everybody's struggling. Whenever a player comes up, that They're gonna buy. They want to buy Xhaka, but they have no money. They want to buy Toure, but they have no money. They want to buy Guendouzi, but they have no money.
Yeah.
How comes everybody else in the world has no money, but you know, the Premier League teams are paying top dollar, or top monies for these players. I don't get that. I mean, I always fear that they're going to that the other teams are going to use that as a means to bump up the prices. That, well, you just spent 50 on Ben White, even though we were offering 20 for him, it's 35 now because you just no, that's the part I don't. If you're doing your business, it shouldn't. I mean, you look at all those other teams; they're not going crazy spending. 50. Has there been a $50 million deal done that you can think of right now? I don't know.
No.
I don't think I recall one. But we're doing that for an a future star, whereas everybody's spending 30 to 40 on players that everybody's saying, you know what, they're doing it right now. Look at this guy. He's like up on his rooftop. The helicopter just landed, dropped him off. He's I mean,
He's just missing his sunglasses.
It was actually Rohan in his helicopter who dropped me off.
9:00 here, Eastern time. Alonso's and Tony, I think it's like 8:00, right? And
Yep.
Stan, what is it? 6:00 over there.
Yeah.
I thought Stan was recreating William Saliba's intro video.
Oh, there you go. Is it Louise? Louise going to be calling you up, Stan, in a little bit? Louise and William going to be calling you up to welcome you to the show.
Your pilot tonight. Well, actually, two. We got Gary. You can be a pilot.
A better at it.
Co-pilot. Yeah. So Tony, listen. Since you came in next, we'll go to you, Tony. Then Stan. So, Tony, Carpe Diem. The meaning of that is a phrase used to urge someone to make the most of the present time and give little thought to the future. So Arsenal really, really need to push the boat out this summer. We've got a lot of very good young players. We don't want to waste this generation of young players, Tony.
Yeah, we got a lot of young talent. We need to spend a lot of money getting depth in the team. Kind of wonder how much of a transfer kit he is with all the players we're being linked to. It has to be at least 200 million, you would think. At least 150 plus player sales.
I would say around 150, and we have to recoup whatever we can from that. Tony.
We won't recoup anything.
Yeah,
Since
not a whole lot.
2012.
Steven said, to be honest, I don't want him, and he could be brilliant. I just think, like every other window, we have more important areas that should be spent on, and that 50 million could have gone to another deal. Stan, where do you stand on the Ben White English international?
Well, a little bit of breaking news for you on the old Arsenal transfer front. Apparently, Arsenal are in talks with my nan. So, as and when I get any more information on that, if there's any developments, I'll let you know.
Is that a Brazilian international?
Yeah, Naninho, we call her. there is a buyout clause, so I'll let you know as and when. But Ben White, I mean, this is a curious one for me on so many levels. I can see some pros and some cons. I mean, first of all, the biggest standout has to be the William Saliba situation, right? It was just 2 seasons ago that we spent £27 million on this kid, and 2 seasons ago we were telling everybody how strapped we were for cash. So that's quite a sizable down payment and investment to put in this kid. And I get that he went back to, go back to France on 1 year for a loan. I get that because he's going to get his game time, every week. But it's been 2 seasons now, and to see that we're going to put in a £50 million bid for Ben White, I kind of feel a couple of ways about it. I would say that if that's the case, when this guy comes, if this deal goes down and he comes to Arsenal,
yep,
then I don't want to hear none of this. He's got to go out and loan for a season. I don't want to hear none of this. He's got to settle. He needs time to settle because he's coming from Brighton. You know, he needs to be able to come into the squad and hit the ground running. And for me, he also needs to be streets ahead, quality-wise, of Chambers and Holding, because they're in around the same age bracket, homegrown as well. And there's a vast difference in what we've paid for those players, right? Huge difference in golf between what we're going to pay for Ben White and what we paid for Holding and Chambers. So he needs to be streets ahead of them for me. Do I think it's a good deal? Well, what's the stat? We were the third best at defence last season.
We were really decent at the back.
So it doesn't seem that that's a big problem. But I mean, if this guy is like the bee's knees, you know, if this guy's like, you know, I don't know, you know, if this guy's Tony Adams reincarnated, then I get it. But I just worry that money could be spent maybe proportionally elsewhere, better spent.
Yeah, this Alonso.
But I've heard he's good. But can I just say, I've heard he's pretty good. I've heard he's good on the ball. I've listened to some other people talk about how he plays. He sounds like a good player, but I couldn't really tell you because I've never really watched a lot of Brighton games unless it's been against us.
Yeah, exactly.
And we lost them.
Alonso, so you know, progressing the ball forward, as Stan said, maybe that's the reason why we're targeting him. And you know, where does this leave Alonso? Where does this leave Holding, possibly Saliba and Ben White? We don't know who maybe the top two in those three would be, where the ranking is yet.
Well, we all know Holding, right? His strengths and weaknesses. And people think that it's easy for him to get shipped out, but he just signed a new contract. So maybe he's a good squad player. I would keep him around. And, you know, Saliba just may get loaned out again. And that's the talk, right? Because why sign Ben White when you have Saliba? So I think Saliba gets loaned out again. Maybe next year we're talking about maybe Holding moving on, maybe Chambers moving on, because you can't just let this talent go to waste. And, you know, he's getting playing time, yes, but he's an Arsenal player, so they have to use him as an Arsenal player, right? And Ben White, you know, he's an English homegrown player. We've never had that talented, right, since a very long time. So it'd be kind of cool to have an English player on a team on a weekly basis. But, you know, it's intriguing. It really is. And I think Chambers stays only because he's been a good right back for us in the past, 3 months. So, you know, there's that as well.
Looks like Stan has a huge green screen effect behind him. I think that's all real. You know?
Yeah, I call this one my Die Hard set. That's Nakatomi Plaza just behind me.
Oh, it makes sense. Makes sense now.
But can I just add something on about this Ben White thing as well? There is a possible scenario. What if the thinking is we're going to spend 50 million on Ben White, we've increased Holding's contract, Saliba goes out on loan for another season, and in a year's time, we're then able to sell Rob Holding without him going off on a free, and we were keeping in control of our destiny, and Saliba comes back in. Do you think there's any possibility that could be the full thing? Gary's not having any of it. Gary's like that.
Dan, you are so funny. You know what? Tip your bartenders and waitresses. Stan is coming to the stage. No, Holding is going to get better from any of these moves we're making. When Saliba is right there, and he probably needs the time more than I think Holding does, right? If Ben White comes in, here's the question. One thing I had on top of that is Alonso said Holding's strengths, and I'm trying to figure out what those are. It's really quiet. It's really quiet. Nobody answered it.
Half our fan base.
Well, how the problem was headed by the Marine?
Good in the air.
Good in the air, no.
Makes a really mean bacon sandwich.
Rob Holding is really curious because, you know, you can pull some stats together and say his partnership with was it Pablo Maria at the time was really good. But yeah, we've seen glaring mistakes from Rob Holding. I was just about to go to Tony.
I was going to say something as well. Who, like right now, before the season, when the season ended, we said, okay, we've got Gabriel. Gabriel needs more time. He's going to need somebody to help him get along because he can't do it by himself. Ben White isn't the answer to that question, right? Who's going to help the back line, the center backs to improve from where they are?
That yet.
He's a couple of years older, but is he at does he have that leadership level that a Luis does, like that experience that like a Luis had, right?
Nobody knows till you give him the shirt, right?
Does he have the leadership skills like a Luis? That's an easy question to answer.
Does he speak English?
That's not going to help Gabriel then. So he's got a negative strike already. I'm just like thinking about when you saw Gabriel and Luis playing, and they're communicating, probably in the native language, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was, maybe Gabriel's improved since then. But like I said, if we're like, if this is to me almost like I'm trying to think how this would fit with like Emil Rowe and Saka, but they are miles ahead of where Gabriel is, I think, in terms of us thinking that, he needs somebody to be next to him, play partner with him to help him along, right? That's how I believe the feeling was going into this new season, that, Gabriel's still not there. He's not going to be the leader, or not going to be allowed to lead, right? And Ben White and him as partnership doesn't, I guess, instill that kind of strong partnership that you're expecting to get from these players. They're still young and still feeling them, kind of feeling their way around.
But Gary, but don't you think that if Saliba and Gabriel would be partners as well, do you think that'd be kind of an issue as well?
I always thought that would be the issue there as well. That's why I always thought they were going to go get some sort of leadership for the back line, some older player, maybe a player in his 30s that, or in the high 28 that can't play. They don't have to play every game. That's the key part to it, right? If somebody can come in and get those players to play together and get them, and improve their game.
I think we don't know until in this project we're stripping things down here. David Luiz had to leave. We're going to have to bring in a new central defender. Rob Holding, we all can see, is a good option for the depth in the squad, but I wouldn't want Rob Holding to be playing the right central defender position for 35, 34 games in a season. James Fernandez, thanks for joining us, James. All right, lads, hope you're all safe and well. Yeah, we're doing good. Would love to take the mickey out of Arsenal. Listen, we welcome banter. It's all good. Potentially spending 50 million on Ben White, but I think Spurs are even in a more of a mess, so I'll let it pass. Yeah. Yeah.
If Ben White is a fifth of the war chest, then I think we're all okay with that.
Okay.
Even though we think he's still too much for what we wanted, right?
If he's a third, we're still okay with it.
I don't think so. Because I think we still need two players in midfield. We still need a backup left back. It would be nice to get a starting right back to build that whole back line.
Million.
Huh?
They're not all going to be 50 million.
Yeah, but they're not. Yeah, but you think 100 for those four players?
Yeah, I think you can do. I can think you can do a lot. You can buy four players with 100 million.
Two midfielders, and we're talking. Nieves was 40.
Yeah, but it doesn't all have to be even. It doesn't all have to be 30, 20, 20,
No, I'm with you. Because I think, if I recall it, it's Basuma, Lakanga. I was listening to one of the shows, and they brought up some of the players that they could fill in, and I think Lakanga and Basuma, they would be about 40 together. If Arsenal could close. That's the question that we have to answer. Can Arsenal, like right now, Lakanga is supposed to be 17 mil? Will Arsenal actually be able to? That deal should have been done already, right?
Yeah. So I heard the Congo was already agreeing to terms.
Very, very, very close. Yeah, terms are agreed. The clubs just have to agree. Gary, hence the title here, Carpe Diem. Arsenal really need to seize the day here. And Tony, you wanted to jump in?
Yeah, as I go back to what Stan was saying on Saliba going out on loan a year, after he's out on loan a year, he'll be with us 3 years, and he'll be considered a homegrown player.
That's right.
So it won't matter if we sell Holding or not.
Holding, yeah. Yeah, I just think that Stan is thinking of a crafty way of how things might play out. And you know what? There's 3 players here for 2 positions, and somebody's going to miss out somewhere. And it seems unfortunate, Stan. It could be William Saliba. It doesn't look like Arteta is in love with the player. And, £27 million down the Swanee.
It wasn't until Gary was just talking a moment ago that it actually dawned on me. I don't know why I didn't. I was thinking that he's right. Right now, our most experienced centre back is Rob Holding.
That is scary, right?
That is, he's the one that other centre backs are looking to. He's the most senior one, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, Callum Chambers. If you want to count Callum Chambers as a centre back, So bringing in a young Ben White, there needs to, where is that older head? To carry him through, because we've got. Is it Pablo Mari then? Is he now being considered?
I think, Stan, what we need to do is not worry so much about the older heads, but worry about the player and the type of player that they're going to recruit, right? Does age really matter?
I mean, for guidance, there isn't anybody in and around that centre back position, and we've got a lot of them, who to me looks like the one who's going to be able to teach them a little bit, help them, game management during the game, go over there, come back a little bit, talk.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. I know he just froze on us, but Lacazette coming into the game did wonders for the youth up top, right? That's what I think came up many times. You know what? Yeah. Things started to change a little bit when Lacazette was playing up top, and we brought in Milsofro and Saka and we're playing them up there, and that made wonders for the game. For the game that we were playing. Is that Partey kind of bringing along that midfield and maybe helping out that back line to some degree? These are questions we can't answer based on what we saw, and so they're unknown, and we don't know if they're going to come in and actually perform the way we want.
And Stan's point is well taken. There's not going to be that experienced player as of right now in the back line, Stan, to guide the players. So we're hoping that these players can, like we said earlier with Kieran Tierney, if Granit Xhaka leaves, you can take that more responsibility in the dressing room, Stan.
So I was just sending a text there at the same time to someone. Work. Sorry, what was the question, Ray? Forgive me, I had work texting me.
Your point is well taken about lack of experience and needing that in the back line. But, Kieran Tierney is going to take more responsibility.
There seems to be a lack of leadership. Oh, I've lost you there.
We can still hear you.
Bit of a lag. It's the divergence in the background.
So a little bit there. Kieran Tierney, I think, is obviously.
It's a helicopter hovering over.
Can you hear me all right? Is it me that's jumping?
We can hear you, but we can hear you.
Can't see you too well.
I think it's just maybe a little bit of
video keeps freezing.
A lag.
Okay.
Just talking about experience in the back line.
Yeah, Kieran Tierney seems to be the captain elect, right? He's going to be the captain elect, but it's never going to really happen until Aubameyang's gone from the club. If Hector Bellerin goes, Xhaka's going. I think he's probably going to be next in line to be the vice captain. And then Aubameyang leaves, and then Kieran Tierney transitions into full captaincy.
So Stan, just stay with you a second. So how do you see Ben White is a huge gamble that Arsenal are going to take?
Fuck.
Gary?
Didn't hear any of that. Is that
we just heard the last part when you said some bad words.
As soon as you went, I heard you say, Stan, I'm going to stick with you. I heard you say, Stan, I'm going to stick with you. And I was like, shit.
Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that, right?
Right, I'm going to leave and come back.
Yeah, come back in. Gary, take that on. Huge gamble, but Liverpool, let's look at Liverpool and, okay, maybe people get tired of making that comparison. Virgil van Dijk, maybe a better known quantity, but He came into Liverpool, made them instantly a better team. Do you think that potential is there for Ben White?
Yeah, but I kind of I don't know. I don't know how much experience. I think Van Dijk had a lot more experience coming in, right? I think Ben White is a name I've heard now, but
Yeah.
and it wasn't a name that anybody was saying. You know what? That is an up and coming defense center back, right? That's the future of center backs there. I mean, to me, I feel like Gabriel is got some tools too that would, for me, mean he's kind of a future center back. And everybody, I think many have said that that could be a good center back in the league, right? In football in general. So Ben White, and if his defense is suspect, right? That's not going to help us. That means we're taking a step back, right? We had the third best defense with with Louise there, right? We're going to bring in a younger player whose defense is not as up, probably not at the level of a Louise in terms of experience and knowing some things before they're going to happen. And like I said, the first video I saw of him was a Mustafi video, so I was like, oh, I don't want to see that because I can't get it out of my mind now.
Stan, coming in okay? Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I hope this isn't one of Mikel Arteta's head fucks where this guy, right, Ben White, he's played at right back as well, and I think he can play like CDM, but his main position is centre back. I really hope this is not a case where he's buying him as the right back and he's going to convert him. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you're going to spend 50 million on this centre back, you got to play him at centre back. Don't bollocks it about and say, "Oh, he's going to be the right." You know what I mean? Don't be too cool for school. Don't do that.
I mean, Arsene Wenger can do it, but Mikel Arteta don't do it. Stan, where are you standing with Arteta still? 15, 20% still hanging by a thread?
Yeah, I'm kind of that's about right.
Nothing's really happened. We're going to see what happens now.
I'm not banging on the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Got you. We're going to take the limelight off Stan a little bit. We'll go to Alonso and Tony.
Am I coming over all right or what?
Yeah, you're coming over good. Yeah, it's just that we can hear you.
Oh.
I think there's a lag from you hearing us, right?
And then there was 4. Then there was 5.
And then there was 5. All right, Tony, I didn't mean to spend 36, 37, 40 minutes on Ben White, but, this deal, Tony, seems to be getting closer and closer. It's probably going to be the first major piece of business Arsenal are going to do. Now, maybe it's a piece of business that we can just do quickly. Maybe it's not our primary target in this window, but, it's going to get done, Tony. So, final thoughts on Ben White?
To me, it's a little too expensive to pay. You could have got Konate for 35 million, Upamecano for 40 million, 50 million for Ben White because he's English. Sounds like a little too expensive to me, but
Hey, Tony.
We'll see how he plays.
Alonso, the Secretary of the Treasury has spoken. 50 million is a big chunk of change, but you got to believe there's at least 100 million left to cover 2, maybe 4 positions. And
we're looking at 60 million at a striker.
Alonso.
Yes, Tony. Yes, right.
We got to believe there's more money in the coffers, right, to go after a midfielder.
You will hope so. But, hopefully we get an extra 15 million for Conte 6 years ago. No, but, I think that, if you're going to do business, you got to do business right, not messing around like past times. And there has to be a target list of players that we really, really need and want, right? And we have to get a decent right back, like Darren has said, to maybe cover for whoever's in that position, whether it's Chambers or whomever else. And we have to get, Basuma looked promising, so did Ruben Neves, and it all took down, and talks kind of went bye-bye, and I like that kid from Belgium, he looks promising as well. So we have to get those done like ASAP because one thing as Arsenal fans, you kind of learn how to, I guess, cope with the idea that these players can get signed on deadline day, and that's not how we should be. We should have gone into preseason with players that we either have on our team that we wanted, or going or close enough. We're not always leave it for the deadline day, and so it's important to get those done as soon as possible.
Yeah, as Darren's saying, bring back Lee Dixon. That's a quantity that we would know about. Legend Lee Dixon, proper Arsenal man. And I saw Brownie talking about Ben Godfrey. I don't know if Ben Godfrey's all of that, Brownie. He didn't really help Everton too much this past season. Ben Godfrey's much better defender than Ben White, and this has credit written all over it. If the first year is alone, they're gambling on revenue streams in the forthcoming season. So, listen, I want to move on from Ben White, and with hesitancy, I'm going to go to Stan. Stan, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Hey, I want to get so this is a Carpe Diem. We got to build around our best players. One of our best players is Bukayo Saka. I want to get your take on how he played for England in the last game there. What were your thoughts on Saka? Back to the English fold. We got English internationals back in Arsenal.
I didn't see the England game.
But as an Englishman, isn't it good?
Well, I'm half English, I'm half Scottish, right? So that one I couldn't lose, could I? I was like, but that
Let
was
me
a snooze
appeal
fest.
to your,
I didn't get to see that.
appeal to your English half then.
I didn't get to see that. So, but I'm glad that Saka got man of the match. I was worrying that it was going to be one of these tournaments where you weren't going to get a sniff at all. Do you know what I mean? That he was not going to get any minutes during this tournament. And I'm glad that he got some minutes because from what I gather, it sounds like it's going to be hard to leave him out moving forward. And that can only be good for the lad's confidence, right? Getting a man of the match award in one of his full capped debuts. I mean, that's magnificent. It's not like he's a striker where you expect strikers to maybe do something in the game, and he's working off the wing there. So I'm really pleased that it seems like he's managed to make himself something for Gareth Southgate to think about moving forward. Fantastic.
Yep. Tony, loving the interaction in the chats there. Gary, your thoughts on Bukayo Saka? I don't know. Did you see the game? I
saw the game. It's
cool.
Yeah, I mean, he does what he always does, and that's why we love him, and that's why we want to see him play. I mean, we wanted to see him rest, but we love to see him play, right? That was the dilemma there. And you know what? If what he showed us in that last game is what he's been showing all along, then why wasn't he playing? Why was he not even on the bench in the second game? I mean, why isn't Grealish playing?
Southgate's the manager.
I mean, some of these I would have rather had them play the first two matches and sit out the third because you know what, you're in the finals, and if you need to bring him on, you can. For example, when do managers that we follow play their best 11 players, much less their best 11 starting team? Like, I don't get it. You have players that will get you there, and you sit them. I mean, England has England's bench has Sancho on it, Bellingham. At one point, it also had Saka and Grealish sitting on that bench. What? Yeah. And those guys are barely getting any touches in the game. Like, are they worth all that money for bad reasons? Because to me, it's because they have the talent, right?
But Gary, don't you have to manage that correctly? That's a lot of attacking talent. You can't put it all out there on the field, right?
The first two games, for me, showed that we didn't have the best out there. You changed it up. You put Grealish and Saka, and things looked totally different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it should have been more goals. If you had a clinical Sterling, you would have scored 2 goals. If you had a better playing Kane in that third game, he would have scored. But you got Grealish and Saka dragging those players along. help making them look. Sterling's got 2 goals, and I still would sit him. And people think that's crazy, but it's not. For the goal scoring is because of in the last game, anyways. I think it's because of the Grealish-Saka combination being on the field. But everything else he does is so not right, so poor. I mean, his ball handling going into the attacking third is just atrocious. He loses the ball so many times. I don't know what he's doing. It's just.
Go ahead, Alonso.
I get it. Sorry.
Gary, who you talking about, Gary? Was it Kane or was it Sterling?
That what?
Who you just talking about?
Talking about both of them.
Sterling.
I would going into that third game. I would have sat Kane and I would have sat Sterling.
Okay.
I don't like seeing Foden walk off and Saka walk on kind of thing. I like to see them play together because I believe that they somehow will have to be the future of England football, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Saka can play anywhere, so why they switching places? I kind of feel like they should be playing together. I don't know how, where, but yeah, I think that should be something that should be coming along, if not now.
So you would like to see Foden in soccer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious.
The names come up all the time. Anytime Saka comes up, it's Foden, and we know Saka can play anywhere on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there shouldn't be really a fight for a position between the two of them if you really think about it. That's based on what I've seen. Stan, I think you were gonna say something.
Jump in, Stan.
I kind of agree with Gary a little bit with Sterling, but I kind of think that I'm a little bit with Gary that maybe the first game he probably wouldn't have been in my starting lineup. But if the manager does pick him and he scores and the game finishes at 1-0, and even though he might have done like maybe sweet FA during the game, you can't drop him, right? And then if it goes in the next game and it's the same thing that happens, you're thinking, oh no, I've got to keep picking this guy. Because if it weren't for him right now, the only thing that would be going on would be our players on the plane probably, right? So you've got to kind of, I get what Gary means though, because he looks like he's not bringing really much to the game at all.
Ian Wright used to play like that. He wouldn't be in the game. He'd get that 1 or 2 chances.
You're comparing Ian Wright to Sterling, right? That's what you're doing?
In some games.
Not me, him.
Is that what you're doing?
In some games, yes.
In some games, well, no, we're talking. You're comparing Ian Wright to Sterling. Okay, got it.
In the sense that a player can be anonymous for 89 minutes, and you only need 1 minute to score a goal.
I think Nicola Pepe's a little bit like that in a way.
Yeah,
and I also think that sometimes a little bit Alexis Sanchez was a little bit like that. But you need to have these players that they can maybe do that one thing, and the 2 goals have been scored by Sterling, and no matter, I do hear what you're saying though, Gary, because I would have picked him for the first game. He would have been in. How do you sit Sancho on the bench? I don't get that. Sancho has proved that he's a lethal player. And what is it? Because Gareth Southgate hasn't watched him week in, week out? What is it? I mean, even if he hasn't watched him week in, week out, he's seen him in training, right? I don't understand. I've always felt that as a player, Gareth Southgate was a very cautious kind of a player to me. A very sort of like introverted and a cautious player.
You are who you are.
And he kind of reminds me of the same as being a manager. I'm seeing the same kind of cautiousness as a manager. And it kind of feels like now that he's picked Saka and Saka's done really well, again he's thinking, oh fuck, I've got to pick him again now, innit? I can't go back to a cautious kind of a lineup with maybe like two deep midfielders. I'll have to keep with the lad. And it's a little bit like Mikel Arteta falling into the habit of then thinking, oh, Emil Smith-Rowe originally in his plans, he wanted to loan him out, right? But something happened, the loans didn't happen, and then he had to play him, and now he's a mainstay in the squad. Sometimes it happens like that.
Yep. Listen, I wanted to stay a little bit further on Arsenal players and what's going on here. We'll get into the Euros in a little bit. But I want to stay a little bit more. Tony, Bukayo Saka, how good can he be? 19 years old, full England international, and making things happen on a big stage. Coming in for his first full game in a major tournament.
I think with sky's the limit for the lad. He can play in any position. Like the last England game, he's playing more as a cam, more in the middle instead of more out to the right wing that he's played the season for us. He can go back and play left wing back. I think you can put him anywhere on the pitch, and he's a help the team. He's got a very high ceiling. It seems like he's got the pride to pay for the badge, whether it's Arsenal or England. He just seems ready to go out there and give it his all. And pretty much, like I said, sky's the limit. Can't say enough about the kid. He's got the right attitude, great play. Can't give him enough praise.
Yeah, Gary, when you talk about, I mean, I wanted to go into this, and Tony actually touched on it. Players who actually love Arsenal and will fight tooth and nail for the team. You could count maybe on one hand, right, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, Saka is a footballer, right? When you look up the definition of a football and you say, what does that look like? At 19 years old, it looks like Saka, right? Just put him on the field, he'll play, and he actually excels wherever he plays, no matter what position. Just get me on the field, and I'll show you what I can do. And he shows it every time. And he's enjoying himself out there, right? Doesn't matter where he plays. And yeah, it's too easy not to play him. I mean, for me, it's too easy not to play him. Every time he goes out, when is he goes out there? Is he going to give us his top games all the time? No, not if he has to play back to back games, because he's not there yet. So hopefully they know that, right? Maybe that's why he didn't play the first two matches, because he was saving him. But you just can't keep him off the field, right? You're basically handcuffing yourself if you sit him down.
He's got to be. Yeah.
And again, once again, like Stan said, it's not like the England team does not have players that are out there doing it right now. In European leagues, they're doing it right now. Yes, they're not English, they're not playing in the Premier League, but this is not Premier League football, right?
Yeah.
This is European football, totally different, right? So I play your best 11. I like to think what our best 11 is. I say us because I am British born. So what is the best 11? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna see it. I would like to see it. I like to see him take that risk, like you said. If he's risk averse, then we're never gonna see these players that will give you 9 times out of 10 really good plays, and that one play you're gonna go, oh. And that's because he's a youngster, right? He's still learning. But those 6 to 7 or 8 times that you're gonna be like, yes, that's why he's out there.
Yeah, Alonso, Bukayo Saka, amazing player. The world is starting to see what he is now. But we as Arsenal fans have been watching him for a full season. He basically dragged us kicking and screaming through November and December. What points we did get in that bad period solely could be attributed to Saka.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing the young guy go, I think that he's so versatile. Like Tony had said, he could play left wing back and number 10 and wing as well, both wings positions. And he's a kid that gives us a glimmer of hope when he's on the pitch. And same for England as well. He could give you that spark, and he makes good runs. He's not afraid to do the dirty work as well. He's not afraid to defend either. So we haven't had that kind of player since Jack Wilshere, I think. So when you have a guy like Saka, playing with Emil's Rowe, they both came from an academy. It kind of means something to them, and it means something to their legacy as well, because they both play for Arsenal in the academy. And so just seeing them both of them grow up in the Arsenal jersey, it kind of means a lot to, I think, us fans as well. We're like the proud papa, who wants to see our son succeed,
Yeah.
in a way.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, I think the sky's the limit for Bukayo Saka as well as Emil's Rowe, because I think Emil's Rowe can also be an important English player coming up. So, it's good to see an Arsenal player play for England finally. After all these years in which they didn't have an English player.
I remember John Craven. as well. Was that news round? That news
Well, I saw it.
round?
Brownie had his cryptocurrencies, right? And he had this like thumbnail, and it's like crypto with Brownie, and like this picture of him, and it just looked like John Craven's newsround, man. I loved it. You got to bring that back, Brownie, man. Bring back the crypto with Brownie.
I'm gonna give myself some credit for remembering John Craven was news round. Oh my God. Gary, as Alonso mentioned, they segued perfectly. Alonso, good stuff. Emile Smith Rowe, the next player we could say loves Arsenal with all his heart and fiber.
Yes, another one. Another one of those players that Arsenal's lucky to have and lucky to have actually played before it was too late. Right. We were talking about how the season would have gone if Arteta had his way and he let him go.
We'd have just put him in a little bit earlier, like we were calling for back in November, December.
Well, yeah. Well, just if you remember, like going into the season, we're like, you know what, midfield needs to be fixed. We need to fix the midfield, and Emile Smith Rowe could be that guy, right? He's still out injured or whatever, but he could be that guy that comes in and does it for us. And the little bit that as soon as we saw him play in, I think in the Europa League, we're like, all right, I think he's ready to go. Yeah. Still took a little while. I don't know how long it was, but
may have been injured. There was some question mark about him possibly being injured, so he wasn't back until that fateful day, December 26th.
Yeah, but I mean, another one is that Arteta getting lucky again?
Oh yeah, right. Listen, we talked about that ad hoc, right?
Yeah, but it still applies because we're still sitting here going, when will we see the Saliba play, right? So we're still seeing it with our young players, right? Yeah. When will Martinelli get a sniff, right? Where he's consistently in the game, where he's the first one off the bench. So all of these things are still relevant, all right? So no, but I think Emile Smith Rowe, like you said, if he can stay healthy, if he can work, he's off for the whole summer. I'm hoping that means he's working on his strength and conditioning and all that stuff that you do in off season. So when he comes back, hopefully he's a little bit more bulkier, to withstand the rigors of the Premier League. Because we don't, I think he hurt his shoulder, and I assume, I don't know how I guess he fell, but he needs to get stronger, right? Mm-hmm. He needs to be able to take whatever gets dished out to him, because I think him and Saka will be, feeling the punishment, as if he's supposed to be a mini Grealish, then he's going to be getting knocked down as well as teams figure out, you know what, we're going to have to go after those two, all right? Yeah. Or they're going to be just late to the party every time, and they're going to be putting them down.
I think he was one of the most fouled. Saka was one of the most fouled players last season. Tony, Emile Smith Rowe transformed our season, along with Bukayo Saka. We have two great players in the team now, Bukayo Saka and Emile Smith Rowe. We've got other good players as well to play around them, but these are the two players we need to build the team around in the next few years.
Yeah, we definitely need to build around them. Doesn't seem like Lego Man knew what he had in Smith Rowe until injuries forced his hand, and he got out there and basically saved our season. We went from 15th place up to 8th. Kind of turned our whole season around. He said he's been able to see what he was doing. I guess he wasn't doing it in training, since training's so important to Arteta. But put him on a pitch and see what he does, and he came out there and did what we've seen from him before. Hopefully he stays injury-free. I think, like I said, sky's pretty much the limit for him too.
Yeah, Stan, like so many things, I wanted the season. A lot of people wanted the season to end. I wanted it to keep going because we were starting to find our groove in those last 4 or 5 games. Yeah, did Chelsea take a day off? Yeah, they did. We won that game in auspicious circumstances. But Emile Smith Rowe tacked on a couple of goals at the end of the season. Bukayo Saka playing well, and Pepe, some world-class games in there in the last 3 or 4 games of the season. You feel like it's coming together, right?
Oh, it's definitely coming together. But, I mean, the bigger question for me is how much are Pepsi paying Alonso for his Pepsi product placement each week? Each week he manages to slip in his Pepsi, the leader of a new generation. He's every week.
It's in the contract. It's got to be in
it's in the contract. Got the Pepsi contract. But, yeah, Smith. What a gem that we've got there with him. And I'm laughing at these transfers. You know, these transfer bids that are coming in from Aston Villa. But usually, you don't come in. You don't come in with like a. I was going to wear them actually earlier, Tony. I was, but you don't actually go in with a firm bid, right? Unless you've had some kind of.
When's the food service? Sorry,
you don't usually go in with a bid, right? Unless someone's like lifted their skirt up like and giving you like a little wink. Do you know what I mean? You know, they've gone in there with a couple of firm bids. So, is it the agent? Because we all know that there's a contract about to be signed. Is this the agent saying to Aston Villa, "What's your plan? How much are you offering?" You never know. Meanwhile, going to Arsenal, do you know what I mean? And saying, "Hey, you know, these guys over there, they're talking about that they will pay him X." Do you know what I mean? So you never know. It could be just a little bit of brinksmanship on the agent's part to make sure that he gets the best deal for his client, therefore hiring his commission percentage. It's just the way of the world, right? But what was that noise?
A little bit of
Can you hear it?
here and there. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay. That's what that Pepsi that Alonso's been drinking, repeating on himself. But yeah, great find, you know, with Emil Smith Rowe, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he and Saka progress next season.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting who, you know, we were talking about the transfer kitty and the money and the 50 million and Ben White and blah, 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 blah. Let's say the Ben White thing happens and the James Maddison happens. That's like over 100 million right there. That's 100 million right there. I mean, I don't know. Have the Cronkies? I heard that the Cronkies have taken out a bank loan to help us, you know, with the transfer. So it may be that we do have more money, right? If you're the Cronkies, right, you shouldn't need to get bank loans. Ain't like he's got a fiver in his pocket and that's it. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't know where the next lunch is coming from. When you go to a bank and you get a bank loan, you have to pay back interest. That's why banks give you the loan, right? They don't give you money and you just pay it back. There has to be interest. So why is Stan Kroenke going to a bank and preparing to do that when he can't just say, here's the money, the bank would charge me 7%. Do you know what I mean? Just pay me back the flat rate. Just give me back maybe over a period of, do you know what I mean? It's not like he hasn't got the money. So why does somebody with that amount of money, why would he rather go to the bank and then have to pay back with interest? I don't understand that. Does anyone, have I missed something? How banks work?
So whenever Kroenke bought Arsenal, and he had to take out a loan as well to buy the club, basically. And I'm assuming he paid that back.
Guess who one of the loaners was? Mrs. Kroenke.
Yeah, Walmart, of course.
No, yeah, so it wasn't. It didn't leave the family. So whatever interest he was paying wasn't going outside the Kroenke name. So part of that, that's why it's like, nah, it's not the same. He did take out a loan. I don't get that, but you know, I guess that's how you do it. That's how the business people do it. But yeah,
it's like you ask your missus. You know, I'm 5 pounds short here. What do you think? You know, I'm good for it. Hand it over.
He gives you gives you the money with a little white piece of paper saying I owe you. It's like,
yeah. Gary, some of the other Hale End players you want to talk about? Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Joe Willock, Reece Nelson, or Eddie Nketiah? Your choice.
I guess we'll go with
all of the above.
Yeah, I mean all of them you could talk about, but I think AMN Ainsley. I think he's.
We know what Alonso thinks.
I think he signed his. Exit papers. All right, that's what I think, because I feel like Arteta doesn't. He doesn't play that way. At some point, the players. I don't understand his. I don't understand his interview. That discussion that he had talking about what he did. It's like, I think that's probably the last straw for him. Even though as a talent.
So what did he say? What did he say, Gary? I may have heard this. I may have not heard this.
I think
That he didn't have any direction from the club. He doesn't know what the club are doing.
that's right. Yeah, it was the he didn't he didn't know if they wanted to keep him, if they were going to try to sell him, all these types of things.
What the plan is.
Yeah, and I don't. I probably agree with him that that's probably what's happening, right? But our Arsenal one should have already finished. The players should have known what was going to happen. I mean, you looked at a lot of the big clubs. As soon as the season was over, they were doing business right away. Not Arsenal, right? And if you're going to sell some of these players, they need to be out. You need to be putting them out there. I mean, I felt Willock should already be gone by now. Yes, he played really well, but they didn't use him, and I don't foresee them changing it. The way that they play so they can get him in. So let him go and try to get
nothing. I don't think much is going to happen till July, Gary.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Like, what's going on? What does that have to do with Willock? He's not playing.
He's on holiday. He could be on holiday.
Is Newcastle playing in the Euros or something? Is that why they can't do business either?
No, he could be on holiday. He could be on holiday.
They still have phones, Ray.
Yeah, if they wanted to sell him, they would sell him and let him know, look, when you come back, you got to go in for a physical. You're gone.
Well, maybe they want to see what kind of interest, what
they need him to be not on vacation to figure out whether they can sell him. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Fax machines are broken, Gary.
Tell me how this works now.
The fax machines don't work.
You can't put out a feeler and say, Willock's for sale. How much do you want for him? But I can't. You can't tell me because he's on vacation right now.
See, Gary, that's a part of the problem. Like they were going to sell, or Wolves were in for $80 million last year, but they didn't sell him. Yet you wasted $80 million first 6 months at Arsenal, and then the second 6 months is Super West Brom with our boy Kieran Gibbs, right? Yet they can't do nothing with him. So they don't know how to, like you say, Gary, they devalue our players, and they don't know how to sell them at a proper time. That's why Joe Willock won't get sold ever, and he'll get back on loan, and boom, that's the end of his Arsenal career because they don't know how to sell our players.
And it's not a good. That's not a good trend either, right? Young players are watching this, right? So Guendouzi, Saliba, Ainsley, Willock. Well, Nelson is probably the biggest. That's the biggest red flag right there, right?
Yeah.
Why? You know what? You did not, as much as they did not communicate to him enough that you need to go out. You need to go out. You are not going to play.
They did not convince him.
The fact that Arteta even said he wants to fight for his spot. That right? Yes. Why? Why are you saying that? What spot was he? He wasn't fighting for his spot. You weren't going to play him. You just wasted 6 months of that kid's career.
The same way he said Saliba will come back to preseason and we'll fight for his spot.
So what they saw the year before when they put $27 million on it wasn't enough to sign him. So now 2 years later,
wasn't Arteta, was it? Wasn't Arteta? It was Don Rao, wasn't it? Was behind all that, and maybe a dude had his hands all over that.
Well, they should have sold him already, but by now then, because they're just wasting. This is money they're wasting, right? Every year they're paying down on a player that they don't want.
The thing is, Ainsley Maitland. I think for me, the thing about Ainsley Maitland-Niles, as soon as he went to the newspapers, mate, that was it, mate. He was toast. That's like he's like Fredo Corleone, isn't he? In The Godfather, you never go against the family. Do you know what I mean? You never go against the family. Ainsley Maitland-Niles is going to get taken out on a fishing boat. You mark my words, and he ain't coming back. Do you know what I mean? That's it. And with the Nelson thing, I think the Reece Nelson thing, it was like Reece. Arteta's like, Reece, we need you to go out on loan. And Reece Nelson's like, nah, mate, I want to stay here and fight for my place. And Arteta was like, okay. It gets to the end of the season, and I bet Arteta just went to him, I told you wouldn't get any minutes. Not my fault. Not my fault you didn't go out on loan. He's stubborn like that. He's stubborn like that.
Yeah. It looks bad on both sides there because you're
he
basically
should.
wasting your players.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me get to
out of
let me get to
stubbornness.
Tony. Tony, what's your take on all of this? Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Joe Willock, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah. Now there's news maybe that Eddie Nketiah may be going to West Ham.
Yeah, I think he's gone. We're looking at 2 strikers as it is right now. One of them's priced at $50 million. One of them's priced at $60 million. Eddie's is simply not good enough. He needs to be sold. I would have sold him last summer. I would have sold A&M last summer when we got $25 million offer for him, since he wasn't in Arteta's plans.
Well, what are we going to do with these players now?
You can kiss 10 million that could buy now, isn't it? That 10 million of that's gone.
Yeah,
I'd sell them all except for Willock.
Yeah, I'm invested in Joe Willock. I want to see him come back to Arsenal. I want to see how he can do and give him a shot in the team as well. Tony, do we want to freshen up the striker options a little bit as well? And Nketiah's going to go. Should we get a striker in?
And we kind of need one young striker and one kind of in their mid-20s.
What is Balogun? Is he not a young striker?
He's the young one. Yeah, I think that's the young one Tony's talking about.
Yep.
So you got him. So you need somebody in between him
Well,
and the training, right?
We need to play him. That's the next step, is playing him, right, Gary?
You don't understand how the Arteta playbook works. It doesn't work that way.
It's that Lego binary.
They gotta let him bring him in so he can fight for his spot. But we just went through a whole back and forth just to sign him. But now he needs to fight for, that's what's gonna come up next.
Yeah, Lacazette or Aubameyang, one of them has to be out this summer, with us being linked to Isaac and Calvert-Lewin.
Aubameyang.
That just makes me wonder how much our transfer kitty is. All these players we're being linked to, they're all like 50, 60 million. How big is that kitty?
That's the question, right? I'm gonna think I'm gonna say 150 million.
Kitty doesn't look that big.
Got it all there.
Is that a calico? Is that calico?
Calico.
It is calico, right?
But, yeah, I just think with the striker situation, if you look at
stands moved.
With the striker thing, right? If you look at the three strikers that the sort of the ones that are supposed to be coming through, right? You got Eddie Nketiah, Balogun, and Martinelli, and it was so obvious that from those three, the one that Mikel Arteta was putting his eggs into the basket was the Nketiah basket, was his little pet project, and he got it wrong again. He's totally got it wrong. Now it looks like we're getting rid of him. So again, it could be another way of looking at the guy's judgment. He had 3 players there, and the amount of minutes he was giving Eddie Nketiah at one stage, it got to the stage where I was like, you're having a laugh. I've seen everything that this kid has got to offer. I've seen it now. I want to see what the others have got to offer. Do you know what I mean? It's time to look at something else.
One of the original sons of Arteta, Eddie Nketiah.
40 minutes of Balogun, and I was like, I like that. I want more of that. 40 minutes. That's what 40 minutes of Balogun, and I'm like, I want more of that. If that's what he can give me, and if he can even give me half of that, then that's better than what I think we're getting from Nketiah, because he actually he's going to put his back to the goal and be able to hold the ball up and make some good decisions if he has the time and space, right? That's not what Nketiah is going to do for you, right?
So Tony,
does anyone think Balogun's going to get sent out on loan next season?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask Tony. I was going to ask Tony, what's the best way to develop Balogun?
Best way to develop him is play him. Arteta didn't play him last season. I don't know if he's going to get to play this season. He might get 20 minutes a game, but I don't think that's enough for him. I think going out on loan would probably be the best bet for him.
All right, so you would loan him out. Let's go around the house and take votes on it. Alonso, what would you do with Balogun?
I would play him, but only if only if he comes off the bench, because he's an important asset to us, and I want to see him succeed, and I want to see him do well. And if that only happened if he is playing time at Arsenal. But letting him alone would be the ideal thing to do. But I want him to play at Arsenal.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to agree with that. I want Balogun to play at Arsenal. I think our options up front are becoming quite easy to defend, maybe against. We know what Lacazette can do. We know what Aubameyang can do. We've got no X factor, and I think Balogun could provide that. I think 15, 20 minutes in some of the games could be enough to develop him, but it could benefit Arsenal as well. So I wanted to jump in there so that Gary and Stan could have their say. Who wants to go next?
You want to go?
All right, yeah. All right, so as far as Balogun, that's another
loan or keep.
I really want to keep him, but I think it's Arteta, so I don't think he's going to get the play. I mean, I don't think
you decide.
If it was me, he would be playing, but he would already been playing, right? He would already been signed.
Yeah.
So I would have been coming into this season going, you know what? He's played whatever. He's been in 10 games. He's got some minutes under his belt. Now he's got nothing really to build on. So in reality, he probably should go out and get a full season to play. Work on especially if he can get that. If he can't get that, then yeah, he needs to come off the bench for Arsenal. But I kind of feel like they wasted a season of him, because coming into the new season, everybody was like, well, we got Balogun. Be nice to see what he gets, what he does. Maybe he should go out on loan, right? That's what I think a lot of us are saying. He got 40 minutes, and whatever he got in U23s, man, he actually needed to be out there playing. And so I think that, once again, Arsenal's a day late again. He should have had a lot of minutes under his belt by now, playing for whatever team would take him, because I think a lot of teams would have taken him. And they probably would have been in the same boat as maybe an Erdegaard, where like he goes out there on loan, plays for them, and they're like, "Oh, we want him," and it's like, "Nah, that's not going to happen, right?" But we won't know that now. So
if we play him next season, Gary, he gets 5 or 6 goals. They could be vital goals for us. Push us up the table a little bit. Who knows? But I think we need that player at our club to benefit us. Stan, I think it's 3-1 here, but you get a vote as well.
I just think that by not being in European competition next season, whether that be low tier, i.e. Europa, or this new Europa Conference, players like Reece Nelson, players like Balogun, and maybe to an extent Willock, maybe even a Guendouzi if he's kept at the club for whatever reason, those players don't have the minutes now that they would get. The only thing really that's left is the Carabao Cup. And maybe if, those first couple of rounds in the FA Cup, if you get like a Wrexham or something like that. So even if you take those players out of the equation, some of our fan base are already looking ahead to the next crop, like your Azizis, right? And the other one whose name I can't pronounce, Suraj or whatever his name is. Where are they going to get their minutes from? Do you see what I mean? So I got a feeling that a lot of players will be going out on loan next season, that more than usual, because of the loss of those minutes. Balogun, well, you got to think that if we're not going to sell Aubameyang and he's going to be your main man, and I think Martinelli should be ahead of Balogun in the pecking order, will he go with Aubameyang, Martinelli, Balogun, or is he going to go Aubameyang, buy maybe someone like an Edouard, Martinelli, Balogun off on loan? Do you see what I mean? It all depends where he's going to go. Is he going to buy someone to slot in between Aubameyang and Martinelli, or is he just going to keep with what he's got? I think he's going to buy another striker. I think if Lacazette goes, he ain't just going to say, "Okay, I'm going to promote within." I think that he will buy another striker, and I think Balogun will go out on loan. What would I do? I agree with Gary. What I saw of him, the short minutes that I've seen of him play, I'm like, yes, please, I'd like to see more.
Absolutely, me too. I'm in that boat too.
I was going to say we always do things a little backwards, right? Nobody came into this window thinking we needed to get a center back, but here we are, on the cusp of probably getting a center back. So, and nobody thought, you know what? We really need a striker, right? nobody thought we really need a striker because one, I don't think they can sell, so they're going to take a loss no matter what they do. So it's almost like maybe you just keep Lacazette because you're not going to sell him for much, but you might be able to get into the Europa League if you keep him. Right, that might be part of the thinking there. So getting a striker might, and then we'll work on the midfield, and by then, guess what? A lot of the targets could be gone, right? And then you're like, well, how did they scramble to get somebody?
Windows closing like the sun is setting there in Vancouver. No, definitely, Gary. I'll take your point. We all know the positions we wanted to fill as priorities, and these things that are happening now seem to be extra and added to what we need. Right centre back coming in, Ben White seems to be done. Alonso, there's some talk about Isaac, and we're going to get Tony in on this as well. Isaac from Real Sociedad. Is that someone you would push the boat at for?
I don't know who that is.
Striker from Real Sociedad.
I never seen him play before.
Yeah, me neither. But that is the talk of the town, right, Tony?
Yep, he has a buyout of $60 million. He just extended a year or two ago, so they're not going to take any less than the buyout.
But is he any good?
34 games in La Liga, 17 goals, 2 assists, so pretty decent. A strike rate of one every other game. You know what I mean? That's pretty decent.
Yeah. So, again, it's a gamble, right? Because we remember a couple of years ago, maybe 4 years ago, we bought Perez, right, from Deportes.
Yeah.
He didn't work out.
So,
again, it's a risk that I don't know if Arteta wants to take, because we've had players like that kind of Arsenal before where they didn't do nothing, or they didn't get enough playing time, or they weren't favored to succeed. So, it's a gamble. It always has been, but getting strikers from La Liga, and they don't pan out. So, who knows?
Yeah. Couple other things clean up here on the transfer business, Gary. Eddie Nketiah to West Ham. Do you think that's a possibility?
Why?
How much do you want? How much do you think we can get for him?
I don't care.
We don't get money for players, right?
What do you value Eddie Nketiah at?
He should be an easy 15, right?
Easily 15.
Easy 15. But
yes.
If we were a big club, he probably would go for 25.
If we sell him, Tony, if we sell him to West Ham, West Ham's got some Europa League money coming in. Sell him for what Liverpool would do, 20 million.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So how much they saw that Brewster guy for?
Yeah, 23.5, something like that. He went pretty high. Don Juan, thanks for joining us. What's up, folks? 14 million for Eddie.
And hold out for more like we did.
What about the English tax, Don? Can we put some English tax on there?
Arsenal is we're in a tax-free zone. If you probably haven't heard, it's called the Emirates, and they don't tax there. If you want to tax, you got to leave.
But Tony, this
the Wobie and Ox got good money. That's about it.
We should be able to offload Eddie Nketiah, right, Tony?
Yeah, you should be able to get 20-25 million for him if you want tough bargainers, sell him to another Premier League team.
A couple other things then, Stan. Mavropanos. He's going to Stuttgart alone with an obligation to buy Stan.
I don't see Stan. I see Maverick.
The sun's setting right in front of me.
There's a bogey at your 6. Watch it. I don't know what that means, but yeah.
I'd say
I feel like I should be flying like Airwolf.
I love that movie.
I'm not sure whether I'm Jean-Michael Vincent or Ernest Borgnine. But talking of the striker situation, I mean, I know sweet FA about this Isaac one, but there was another name that we were linked with that I like the sound of, and that was Andre Silva, the Portuguese guy.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a link there, right? And if you look at his stats, he's at Eintracht Frankfurt, 32 matches, 28 goals, 5 assists. Not too shabby at all.
No, not at all.
You know, those are some nice stats. But again, as I said at the beginning of the show, Arsenal are in talks with my nan. Who knows who they're talking to? You know, who knows who we're in links with? It's ridiculous. You know,
What
it seems
position does my man play?
What does she
what
play?
position, man?
She plays right back at home doing her knitting.
Hey, we need one of those.
You know what? She might be able to, because you know what? Tierney does. He might need. You know, she can help Tierney out because it gets cold out there playing without a jacket on. So
she actually she actually plays up front, but because of her problems with mobility, she usually works best in the two.
Get the woolly jumpers going, Stan. Get those knit needles going for autumn. You know what I mean? Mavropanos then as well going to Stuttgart.
Why not? He's obviously not going to get a chance. He's obviously not going to get a chance at Arsenal by the looks of it. You know, if Saliba's not going to get a chance at Arsenal, there's no way Mavropanos is. I mean, I think that ship has sailed.
Ship has sailed, exactly. All right, Alonso, Sambi Lokonga. That's very close as well. Ben White and Sambi Lokonga should be incoming soon. A midfielder for Anderlecht. Question really is he going to be a starting at a midfielder, or is he going to be one for the future?
Well, at the price is coming at, it's like low risk, high reward, right? Because I mean, he's kind of like unknown to us Arsenal supporters. So, but you know, at this point, it's anybody better than Xhaka, right? You want that position to be a successful one. You want that position to be solid, and you want that position to have a party. I think that it's the right move. I mean, it's a bargain. So yeah, I mean, it's exciting news that we're going to get someone finally to fill in for Xhaka if he decides to go, which he should. Yeah, I mean, it's a move in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Tony, just bring Don Juan up to speed there. He missed the pod at the start of it. Ben White, guys, yes or no, Tony?
Yeah, we spent 35 minutes on him. We're kind of split down the middle on him. It's really not a position.
Pros and cons, Tony.
Pro, he's English, makes another homegrown player. Lets us be able to sell other players. To me, it's too much money to be spending on him, but seems like we have a big transfer kitty with all these players we're being linked to.
Yeah, Don, I'll add on to that. If we're spending $50 million, I know there's some consternation amongst fans about spending $50 million. You gotta believe there's another $100 million out there that they're going to spend this summer. I believe it anyway. If they're spending 50 on a central defender, could be anything, but it is disturbing that we're not going to use a player in Saliba that we've already spent $27 million on. Alonso, Gary, or Sten, any of you want to dive in on the old wounds there with Ben White?
No, I mean, the one thing that you guys brought up was Lokonga and whether he would get to play, and I'm like, did you see who we had in midfield the last season?
I think Lokonga. I know nothing. I've never even heard of Lokonga until we linked with him. I went on to like my career mode on FIFA. Went to transfer search. I put in Lokonga, and it just came back and said who. I didn't even know who he was in FIFA. Even FIFA were like, no. They were like, "Is that?" I was like, "Lokonga." He came back from the transfer search and it said, "A dance like you do at New Year." I was like, "No, that's the conga. I want to buy Lokonga." So nobody knows who this guy is, right? But apparently, he has been bought to be like a backup to Partey. When Partey can't play, when Partey's injured or whatever, he's supposed to be his apprentice, you know. But the name that I do like that we've been linked with is Camavinga. A bit more about him. Not very much, but a little bit more than Lokonga. But as I say, we're linked with all of these players. I mean, Ruben Neves, again, there was that link as well, right? I mean, that's got to be at least 25, 30-ish if that's going to go down. Then you've got James Maddison's been kicking around, you know? We're talking about 60 million there. How much money have we got to spend, really? I mean, it sounds like there's a good number out there, not counting what we may get back from what's being sold. But it is a mystery, right? Really, of what it is that we're trying to do. Are we going to these clubs and are we making bids and saying, yeah, we'll give you £5 a week? Do you know what I mean? Until the apocalypse, or are we going out there and saying, here you go, we want to buy this person, we're going to come in with this amount of cash? Nobody knows, and a part of me likes that. I grew up in an age where we never had any of this. You had the back page of the newspaper, or you had Oracle or CFAX. I found out about us signing Dennis Bergkamp. I was on holiday in Ibiza. I'll never forget it. Me and the missus came down I had our breakfast, and on our way out to the pool, she went into the shop to get some like lotions and whatever. And I stood at the newspaper rack, looking at the papers, and I pulled out the newspaper, and there was Dennis Bergkamp. We'd signed him. That's how I found out. It made my day, because at the time he was a player that I was aware of. And I knew of Dennis Bergkamp. I used to be into Dutch football, and I was buzzing for the whole day. But now we've got all this speculation. We can pick the bones out of it with this person, that person. The people that have to people got to put stories out every day. They've got to get their clicks. So I kind of, I've always been one that said, when I see the guy standing there with the shirt, then okay, I'll buy into it. And I'm not going to judge this transfer window until it shuts. Some people are saying, oh, nothing's happening yet, or it's taking too long, or what's going on, because we don't know. Remember Mesut Ozil? He just turned up. We buy Mesut Ozil. There was no speculation. It happened really quickly. So I'm not going to judge this window until it slams shut. And when it slams shut, then I can say good or bad.
Yeah, we all remember Arsene Wenger was the master of distraction. We'd be talking about a player, and we'd go and sign someone from the Croatian league, Eduardo or something like that. As Don Juan said, don't know any of the players we're linked to. I only learned of Ben White 2 weeks ago. And yes, I was actually doing something more mundane when I heard about Dennis Bergkamp. I was walking to work, and I bought a tabloid. There it was on the back pages. Listen, I'm going to duck out for a second, but I'm going to start you off, Gary. Your thoughts on the Euros so far, and let's have a discussion. Who you all think is the most dangerous team out there? Who looks good? Who could be the pretenders to France's throne, and all that stuff? And then we'll get into the knockout stages. Be right back.
Yeah. No, I kind of feel like, I've enjoyed watching the Euros. It's I don't have too much vested in it, so I'm not going to feel as much pain. I do want to see England do well, but it's been good watching the players out there doing their thing. So I've been enjoying it. The team that came in and like when everybody was talking was Italy, and they didn't let us down. They actually played pretty well, right? France came in and they haven't looked as good as they should be if they want to run through this thing and win. Germany, we always knew was going to struggle. Portugal, they came in looking weak, and they did the same thing. They've continued to do that. They looked good a couple games, but not the way you would want to if you think you're going to win this thing. And also, the dark horse would be England, and that's mostly because of Southgate, I think, more than anything. England team doesn't look that good at all. So if they ever get it clicking, I think it'd be really good. But like I said, I've enjoyed watching it. The Hungary match, the last match, I think, with Germany, that was really, really good. See them come out, take the lead, and then take the lead again. And then basically, I said the first one to win, get 2 goals is going to win, and it was Hungary. But, at some point, Germany's talent overwhelmed them, and they just couldn't hold on to that lead. That would have been nice to see Hungary. I think they would have been second or third in the group if they kept that goal lead. I guess third definitely because Portugal, the way they played. But yeah, enjoyed it. Sorry, did I go on too long? I don't know. You're back already.
Yeah, the whole entire time I was away. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Let you guys speak too. Sorry about that. Yeah.
No. Alonso, Italy for Don Juan. Belgium look okay as well, to be fair, to be honest. I actually like Belgium as well. I'm tipping them. I think I have a feeling if France won't something will happen to France. I think another team will take control. Alonso?
Yeah, I think that, like I said in the beginning when this thing first started, I had England winning it all, but it's not gonna be easy. I think that for some reason I think that the game against Germany, I think that England's younger players are gonna make a difference in that game. And I think that would be England's toughest test is Germany because they're very defensively good against England. I think Bukayo Saka, just the way his excitement on the ball is really special, and I think his teammates have noticed that as well. So I don't know. I'm very excited about England's chances. I think they go pretty far.
Tony, I just worry about England, Alonso. I just, Southgate, as Arsenal fans, we can see similarities to Arteta with Southgate. He is a cautious manager. Tony, what team has excited you so far in the tournament?
Italy's looked the best, but my little dark horse Netherlands has looked good too. You're looking for a Ned Flanders match between Belgium and Netherlands?
I am. Yeah, I actually have a sneaking feeling that the Netherlands will meet Belgium. And what I think, I'm not Belgian or Dutch. Is that like the Flanders area or the lowlands or something like that? But that would be an interesting matchup if that happens. Stan, who have you liked so far? Who do you want to see?
Well, obviously, for me, because of the time difference and with work, I've not had a lot of opportunity to watch hardly any matches. The one match that I really did have an opportunity to take in was Netherlands. Was it Ukraine? Mm-hmm. That was a really good game. I really enjoyed that game. I was lucky that the time that I had and I found a game to watch, there was a lot going on. It sounded as well like, I think, was it yesterday? Portugal and France sounded like it was a good game. And it's quite astounding to think that a record's just been broken with Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is now the joint top goal scorer international player ever. And he's joint with I can't remember the guy's name. If it's Ali, what's his name? Is it? Funnily enough, you'd think, what country would he be tied with? You'd think it would be like a guy from Iran. Yeah, the joint top goal scorer at international level is from Iran, and Cristiano Ronaldo just needs one more goal to be the sole. And then before those two, you're going back into the 90s and then back to Platini and people like that. So it's a record that's not going to be broken for a long time. When I found out about that, I was quite astounded. I mean, whether you like Cristiano Ronaldo or not, the guy's done it. He's done it at the highest level. I like the Dutch, but my worry about the Dutch is that they don't really seem to have what I would call a proper outlet at the top. Mm-hmm. Some of the strikers or the people that they've got available to play through the middle, I'm not totally convinced. I like Depay, but I don't really see Depay as being a focal point in the attack. I think Depay should be playing a little bit further back. You get a little bit more out of him. So the Dutch, I think, are going to stumble. They play very hot and cold. They're the sort of team that will come out and they'll go 2-0 up and everything will be hunky-dory and then they'll lose 4-2. They can do that. France, what I like about France, you look at Paul Pogba. Man United didn't get the same guy. It's like there's two of them. There's like two twins. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. One of them's in Manchester. The other one plays on the international stage because it's like watching two different people. Some of the stuff that I've seen Paul Pogba doing, in little bits and that, you're like, bloody hell, Manchester United. They'd cry to have that guy. And Mbappe as well. I mean, he's one of my favourite players in the world at the moment on the world stage. There's going to be so much to come from him. Who do I think is going to win it? I don't think England are going to win it at all. I think we've had better England teams in tournaments of years gone by. And I think that even though we've got some very, very good players in this England squad, Gav Southgate seems a little bit uninhibited to unleash some of them. Mm-hmm. That contains Jadon Sancho, Bukayo Saka and Jack Grealish in the same lineup. Why can't I see that? Why does one have to come off for another one? Why is it if one plays, one can't play? Why can't you do it? This is a tournament at the end of the day. It's a tournament. You should go out and maybe treat each game a bit of a bit of an FA Cup. You know, this isn't the league that's going over 38 games. So I don't think England are going to win this one. And, you know, hopefully I'll be able to eat my words because I'd love them to. Never seen England win an international championship in my lifetime. Don't know if I ever will. Who do I think will win it? I think the French have got to be kind of up there. I think Portugal might have an opportunity as well because Cristiano Ronaldo is just an animal. He's a sort of player that can drag you over the line on his own. And I think maybe the Belgians as well. I'm very shocked to see how the Germans have been playing so shy in this tournament. I don't think the Germans have really lived up to it.
I haven't.
But because I haven't seen as many games, like Gary sounds like he's seen quite a lot. I'm just going off, you know, the teams and the lineups and that. I haven't seen a lot of the games to give you a good opinion. But I hope to see some more. I really wanted so overhyped. Listening to stuff on TalkSport, talking about it, reading all the stuff, and for me, being English and a little bit of Scottish, and remembering, you know, Euro '96, and I was so gutted where week out, but on that particular day, I had the fire department come in, and I had to be with them all day, and I was gutted about it leading up to it. But as I was checking my scores on my phone throughout the day, I was like, I'd rather be with the fire department. This sounds like a snooze fest. So sometimes the games can be overhyped, right?
Just for the shits and giggles, the crack of it, we're going to go through everything, Gary, and we're going to see who's going to meet in the final. Right? So I'll start you off, Gary. First game is going to be Belgium versus Portugal. If there's 5 of us, so the majority is going to vote here, and the majority goes through. Belgium versus Portugal.
Yeah, this one is probably a tough one for me, I think, because which Portugal team you're going to get? You know, They haven't looked that strong in this tournament. Yes, Ronaldo scored, but I think he scored 2 penalties in the last game, right? So nothing where you're like, you know what, he's attacking and he's put a lot of pressure on that back line. They haven't been able to do that, even though it's surprising. Why have they not been able to do that? They have Bruno. They have got their defense should be stout with Ruben Diaz right back there. So it's surprising how they're not playing as good as you would want them to based on them. You look at the names on that team and you're like, Neves is on that team, I believe, right? So you've got some really, at least in Premier League wise, you've got some really solid players playing for that team. Why do they look like that? You know, why do they not look so good? Not Neves, but you know, why do they not look so good? You know, so this one's a tough one for me. I want to.
It's going to be a
I
tough
think when I did the picks for this, I think I might have went with Portugal just because of the Ronaldo factor
right.
there.
One for Portugal, Alonso. Portugal, Belgium. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to say Belgium. So 1-1. Go ahead, Alonso.
I'm going to go for Portugal.
All right. Tony. And we'll hope Stan comes back in a second.
I'm going to go with what Stan said earlier. It's hard to rule out Ronaldo. I think somehow Portugal pulls up the upset here.
Is that 3-1? Did you say Portugal, Alonso?
Yeah. So here's why I think so. I think that, you know, if you look at Eden Hazard, right, he hasn't been the same in quite a long time, right? He hasn't had that killer instinct that we all, as Arsenal fans, have seen him as a Chelsea player. And that's kind of worrisome if you're a fan of Belgium. And I don't know, it's just something about that team that I don't think that they're going to make it that far.
All right, I'll continue. I really think Belgium, but I'm going to go with the democracy here and the majority ruling here. And Belgium are out. Portugal move on. I didn't see that happening, Gary. Alonso, the next one, Italy versus Austria.
If this would be an upset special, but I think Italy is just too good right now. I think we've all known Italy to become a defensive team, right? But then they finally have this firepower that can get them through maybe to the semifinals or even the finals. So I go with Italy for this one, but they could stumble. So,
Tony, Italy versus Austria, and Don Juan's going for Italy too.
Yeah, I think this would be a pretty easy one for Italy.
Yeah, I think so too. Stan, I don't know if you're back. Possession-wise, Italy will hold on to the ball. I think they're too strong for Austria. I think this is a slam dunk here for Italy. It's already 3 votes. Gary, Italy versus Austria.
Yeah, I think this is an easy one. I went with Italy.
Too strong.
Yeah. Yep. Italy. Easy.
Next one is the Netherlands versus the Czechs. Tony gets to start off.
I think it'd be a close game, but I think Netherlands will win.
Yeah, I think it will be a close game as well. Modric playing really well for the Czech Republic, but I do think the Netherlands are on something of a sweet run right now. So Don Juan, let us know. Netherlands. Anyone else watching? Let us know. Gary, what do you think?
This one is probably gonna be another tough one as well. I mean, it's not. Czech has Modric, right? So he is he can help. He is a terror if you let them have a little bit of control there. So, but I kind of feel like Netherlands has too much. So, let me go with the Dutch.
Alonso.
Oh wait, doesn't Modric play for Croatia?
Yeah, maybe.
So who am I thinking of then?
So
I led Gary up that path, and it was on me.
Yeah, you said yeah, so you confirmed it, which you shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for a Dutch. I want to see a Dutch do well because they've been known to be not a powerhouse, but they've been known to kind of be a good team in these kind of tournaments, even in World Cups and past. And so they missed the last World Cup, so this could be an important stepping stone for Dutch's future as far as getting back on top.
Yeah, definitely. And the last one, Gary, on this side is going to be Spain versus Croatia, and it is Modric of Croatia. This is going to be an even game, Gary. This is going to be pretty tight.
Well, yeah. I mean, it all depends on how Morata plays, right? He seems to be putting himself in good situations and basically failing every chance he gets. So he hit the easiest chance of all in the last match, and he still couldn't score, right? And he still went out and scored 5 goals. So that's the scary part, right? They did all that, and they still scored 5 goals in the last, or is it 5? I think it was 5 goals, right? So I don't think it'll be that easy this go around, of course. Like I said, Modric will be there. I
agree with Don Juan here.
I think, this could be a shocker, and I think I did have a shocker when I did this, and why not? Let's go with the upset. Let's go with it. Yeah, Modric does it. For
Croatia,
not for the Czech.
So Alonso, Gary, and I are going for Croatia versus Spain. What do you think?
So okay, guys. So I don't understand how Croatia is going to upset Spain. And it's funny because Croatia were runner-ups in the World Cup, right? So they have a lot of talent on that team, and I'm surprised they're not being taken lightly. But I think that Croatia's got a good team, and they have most players from that team in 2018, right? In the World Cup final.
That's a great point. A lot of people forget that they were in the final.
Yeah, so I'm going for a Croatia win.
Yeah, Tony, Spain have not been great in the tournament. They won 5-0 the last game. It was a game they really needed to win to get into the knockout stages. And being in the knockout stages can change everything for a team. But Gary, myself, and Alonso feel Croatia are a solid choice here, and of course Don Juan believes that as well. What do you think?
Spain's been hot and cold. I think Croatia as a whole's kind of played probably the most solid team and got a good team backbone. They play for their country. I was thinking it was gonna be an upset. I think Croatia will win, so we're unanimous so far.
All right, pencil Croatia in. All right, next one up on the other side was going to start off on the other side of the table, and it is going to be Sweden versus Ukraine. Now, I'll stay with you, Tony. Ukraine squeaked in on goal difference, being the worst third place team. Let's not get started on the seeding and how UEFA have organized this.
Yeah, I don't get how they come up with it. It's stupid.
Sweden,
At least they listened to me on one thing today, so I'm happy.
I bet you are, Tony.
Sweden have been pretty good in this tournament.
Yeah, Sweden's been playing pretty solid. It should be a pretty easy win for him.
Yeah. I'm not going to go easy win, but I think Sweden will go through. It'll be a close game and tight. I think Ukraine will make it tight. Gary?
Which team is this? Sweden?
Sweden versus Ukraine.
Yeah, Sweden. Easy. Yeah, move on. Next.
Easy one. Alonso, Sweden or Ukraine?
So the only way I think Sweden have a chance if they bring back Sebastian Olsen. Oh yeah. No, I'm joking. Nah, but I think Sweden's got a pretty good team there, and so I go for Sweden.
All right. We're gonna save the two best ties for the last here, and we'll talk about Wales versus Denmark. Who wants to go first here? Gary? No? Yeah. Tony volunteered first.
Okay.
I think this one
for Sweden also. Tony, Denmark lit it up in the last game of their group, but Wales. I want to say Wales have been pretty consistent.
I think Wales has been more consistent. I think this is kind of a toss-up game. Like I said, I've always played FIFA with Wales. I don't know, there's something about Wales I've always liked. I think it could be a narrow game. Might go into extra time, but I think Wales win.
Yeah, I think Wales will just squeak this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Denmark does it. Alonso?
Yeah, I'm going for Wales. And after the game, I think Aaron Ramsey is going to go somewhere Arsenal.
Aaron Ramsey, come on.
Aaron Ramsey.
I mean, where we don't have many Arsenal players in their starting teams, we have Tierney, we had Saka start, and Granit Xhaka. Aaron Ramsey is a player we've enjoyed watching. Gary, we pretty much decided it's Wales, but what do you think?
I don't know. It's
a coin toss.
It could be anything.
Yeah, no. It's like I said. It's the first game of the. It's the first game, so is it going to be a barn burner back and forth, or is this going to be a?
Yeah, this is the first game on Saturday. I think it's going to be an entertaining game.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Lots
go.
Of goals. 3-2. Somebody's going to win 3-2.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Wales. Then it's going to be high scoring. So
Aaron Ramsey, Alonso.
Or do you have these written down?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got everything written down.
Okay, good. So we're gonna ask.
No, this isn't for your picks. We're just playing here tonight. France versus Switzerland, Alonso. Granit Xhaka is going to be overloaded in midfield.
Oh yeah, he is.
I think it'll be entertaining just to watch Granit Xhaka. Probably get sent off.
and he messed up doing one of his famous blunders. Yeah.
Xhaka's going to get a red card against Conte.
You're Conte, right, Tony?
As Arsenal fans, we shouldn't be talking like this, right, Tony?
Yeah, He's gone. He's just signed with somebody else. So who gives a shit?
I told you that's bad. I told
Easy
you.
win for France, right?
What?
Pretty easy win for France.
Yeah, it should be.
Vive la France.
Yeah, I think it'd be France too. I think that they're just too strong of a team. But like you said, right? I think it'd be funny to see Jaka just mess up somehow and get red carded.
So, Gary, do you like croissants or do you like Swiss cheese?
I think I like croissants. Yeah. I think this one, well, we'll find out, right? We'll find out if France is pretenders or not. But this should be an easy match for them to come out and
Yeah.
dominate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody, at least one of the players on that team can come out and do more than enough to get them over the hump to beat Swiss. I think. Swiss as a team is good, but I don't think they have the talent to overcome, like if a Conte or if Mbappe or if Pogba or if Benzema or you just go down the list of players that can come out there and maybe make a difference in this match. So
when is that game?
that game, if I recall, this game's on Monday, the late game on Monday.
Switzerland, yeah, late game Monday. Good job. Okay, so that leaves Gary. I'm going to go with you.
Yes.
Seeing that
So
you were born in England. England versus Germany. This is England have had trouble with Germany down through the years.
well, I guess the question is, will they get Southgate or not?
Okay.
I think Germany.
Southgate will be
Germany.
selected as
Nobody
the
wants. Yeah, nobody wants to bet against Germany. But I think if you're going to beat them, I think this would be the time to do that, where they're kind of going through they're rebuilding essentially. They're not as strong. So England should be able to win this. I have England winning this one. But yeah, I mean, you don't count out the Germans, but you got to take advantage of when it comes. That's what's going to be telling about this match. Is say they go with the same front four that they had in the last match. Those opportunities won't come as easy, I think. But when they come, we got to take them, right? So, yeah, I don't want to go to Pens. I don't want to. No.
No.
I feel that England has the better attackers as a whole, right? I think as a whole, even probably in the Euros, in the terms of the number of players that they have that can attack, and we just don't get to see them.
I would say England have the more consistent attackers, but if Germany turn it on, it could be devastating.
Yeah, but turn it on how? Turn it on, like, I mean, yeah. When I say that,
you know what I mean. You know what turn it on means,
no,
right?
but they don't do that. That's the thing. This isn't the German team of old.
They did have a 5-1 win, Gary.
Stop it. Stop
Is
it.
this the old England feeling confident and then the sucker punch?
No, I mean, I think a lot of people I think England needs to play better, right? I mean, yeah. And that's why I said, will they get Southgate? Because that's kind of what it's been. I don't feel like I think that 5-1 win is Germany like you said, getting all that they can out of a match where I don't think England has done that yet.
Right. Alonso?
Yeah, so like Gary had said, I think Sake, if he were smart, he would put Connor Henderson and Phillips at midfield, and just put Saka, Grealish, Sancho, and Bennington up in the midfield, and have Rashford as the striker, because you're not getting anything out of Harry Kane, right? Or maybe put Sterling up there. Who knows? But it has to work. And like Gary has said, we had the attackers to do so. It's just up to Southgate, and and I'm okay with Stones and Maguire at the back, and Kyle Walker and Luke Shaw, right? They're not bad, they're not
Yeah.
fancy, but they get the
One of those
job done,
right
right?
back.
So I mean, and I like Henderson, and Jordan Henderson in midfield because he can control the midfield. He controls the tempo, as does Phillips. So like I said, I think this game is going to be won in the midfield.
Yep. And who are you ultimately going for?
Oh, England. Sorry, guys.
No, that's fine. 2 for England so far. It's Gary and Alonso. Tony?
Yeah, let's see if Arteta's brother Southgate screws it up with a lineup or not. I think England's got the talent, even though Germany did have the 5-1
God, here we go.
victory over Portugal, which Gary doesn't think Germany's capable of turning it on. But
Was that the match? If I'm recalling now, was that the match with 2 own goals in it?
doesn't matter. It's 5-1.
Yeah.
I'm just asking because that
Yeah.
yeah.
Own goals are a consequence of pressure on in your box. So they didn't deal with the
Like I said,
situation.
and I said also Portugal isn't it, is a team that, can lose 4-2, but also can turn around and win 4-2. That
Oh, yeah.
the way they've been playing. Germany, I think, is just young.
So Tony, go for England or Germany?
If you base it off of players, you choose England. If you base it off managers, you pick Germany. Won't surprise me if it goes to extra time.
Wouldn't be surprised if it went out. I'm going to take the decision out of your hands. And England will go through. I think England will go through. I think it's their time to get through.
Thanks for deciding for me, Ray. I can't make my own choices.
Well, you didn't. You said maybe they will, maybe they wouldn't, maybe they could, maybe they shouldn't. Who do you like, England or Germany?
England should win, but
No, see, you already just you just
England
waffled.
should
You want
win.
some whipped cream and syrup with that?
And he
I like
complains.
whipped cream and syrup on my
He
waffles.
complains,
Like,
Gary, when I'm like, okay, I'll take the decision
Okay,
out of your hands.
Bratwurst teams that win. Bratwurst. Bratwurst.
You're just saying that to wind us up. I get it.
Bratwurst, not fish and chips.
Fish,
All right, it's 3-1. England progress. It's 3-1. Okay, semi-final. Let's stay with England, Gary. England will play the Dutch. Am I right?
England will play who?
Dutch.
Quarterfinals.
Oh,
Yes.
going into the next round, yes.
So no, England will play Sweden. Sorry.
Yeah, I think this to get to the finals. I think this is their first game is the toughest. Which all right. So I think, yeah. What?
I'm laughing just because I think this is a banana skin for England.
Well, I think every match has been a banana skin for England. Actually, we just been lucky. I think to some degree that it's worked
Thanks,
out.
someone.
But
England
I
plays
think,
Sweden.
I think if they play Germany and they get a win, a real solid win, then yeah, I don't think there won't be any banana peels for sure.
All right, I'm gonna go. I think this is a Scandinavian team that would play England, so I think they match up pretty well. I think they shock England and beat them, so I'm gonna go for Sweden. Alonso.
Didn't Sweden play England in 2000
Yes.
World Cup?
Yes.
And they didn't give him fits.
They give them a tough game. I think it was 1-0. Harry Maguire header.
That's right. Yeah. So I think it's still gonna. I think it's still gonna be a tough game, and I think it'll be going to extra. It'll be a close game, and England win at the very end. I think it'll be coming down the wire.
2 votes to 1, England. Tony, please make a decision.
It's a be another one of the toss-up games, but I think Sweden's.
he's just.
I think it's a be a toss-up game.
This is called a prediction game. You can't go. Come on,
I
stop with
haven't
the
said my
waffling.
pick yet. Damn it!
I know, but you're waffling.
Toss-up.
You're waffling.
Sweden.
Gary, didn't I say please make a prediction?
Everybody gets to talk about the game except for Tony. Tony just has.
Yeah, Tony, you don't get all these. Aren't your rules, man. You don't. Yeah,
Tony
you're
can't
right.
talk about the game.
No, you can talk about the game.
It's Sweden. Next person, next game.
I feel like I go to bed and wake up in the morning and you still wouldn't have a decision.
Netherlands, Wales, Netherlands.
Oh, he went there, Tony. He went there, Tony.
Netherlands, Wales, Netherlands wins in the next round. Ray, your turn.
Ray's doing. Oh wait,
Right,
Ray, Netherlands, Wales.
1 second. Don Juan, you're going to be the decider. I think you said 2-0. England are going to win, Don Juan. So we'll put England into the semi-final, okay? Gary, Netherlands, Wales. Netherlands win.
Wales.
Netherlands win.
Oh yeah, the Dutch.
He's a freeze.
The Dutch.
Deutsch.
The Dutch.
The Deutsch.
Clogs, man. Clogs win.
Tony, did
They
you
hurt
say
too, right?
Netherlands?
We get hit in the shins.
I said for clogs, damn it.
Okay, Tony, calm
You
down.
want to speed
All right.
this up? Tony can only make picks. I said for Dutch.
You can say, tell me something about the Dutch.
The Deutsch.
Tony played nice for much of this live stream, but now Tony's angry. Alonso, Netherlands versus Wales.
So I think it will be a close game. I think
You can't say that. Pick the winner.
Jeez.
again. So I'm gonna go for let's see. So the Dutch have a good team, and so do Wales. I'm going for the Dutch, but you know.
I don't know.
Wow.
You know what? I'm laughing because I'm like, so, Stan from Chopper 11, tell us, how are things looking out there? Did he hear us?
It
He used to live in
he's
Amsterdam.
lying, doesn't it? Because you have that thing from the top of his chair to it looks like part of the window.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
I'm saying to Stan from Chopper 11, tell us,
I can't hear
how's
you.
it look up there?
Yeah.
The chopper blades are too
I feel like I should be telling you about like traffic news.
Yes, please. Please, how's it looking out there in Vancouver?
Well, so where are we? Sorry, I have to disappear. My work phone went and they just fucking
We're
won't leave me
we're at
alone.
the semi-final stage. We've got the Netherlands. Well, we're
yeah?
debating about the Netherlands. We put England in. They've beaten Germany. They've beaten Sweden.
Have they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually think Sweden will give them a hell of a game. You know.
Really? Okay.
Do you think England will beat Germany and Sweden?
So you wanna... Nah. Nah.
The
I don't
Netherlands.
really rate England that highly, to be honest with you. I don't. You know, I think Harry Kane's just a bit flat.
Mhm.
You know, we need to
Side note,
like put some fizz into this team. This team needs a bit of fizz, and we saw a bit of fizz. Apparently, didn't see the game, but apparently, you know, Saka gave a little bit of fizz. We need a little bit more in there. No, it's just yeah.
The manager handicaps them.
Okay, Stan. Netherlands versus Wales.
Oh, Netherlands.
Okay, now we're moving. Okay, so on the other side, Tony. Go to Tony first.
Portugal.
Portugal and beat Italy.
Tell us something. Come on, give us something. Give us some of your analysis.
Yeah,
I want it. I don't listen to Ray or Alonso.
No, I think Italy wins it.
Portugal versus Italy. You don't want to tell us why?
Italy's probably the most solid team. They've looked the most exciting team. Just looks like they're solid. They tried 60 different players.
Yeah. All right,
Figured it out.
Stan's looking down. Stan, for some reason, I was outvoted. Belgium are going to be beaten by Portugal, so Portugal will progress and play Italy in the quarterfinal.
What is that all? Why do you have to say that?
Because
It's
Stan
not
was
about
gone.
you.
I believe
It's
in
not about you,
Belgium.
Ray.
I
I
believe
got
in
voted, I
Belgium.
got voted against. It's all about me. So don't blame the messenger because I didn't create this mess.
Don't cancel me, Gary. Don't cancel me.
Cancel
Stan,
culture.
Portugal versus Italy, Stan.
Oof.
He is looking out at the traffic. I can tell. He's looking
Portugal.
at the traffic.
Portugal.
Wow.
He's going
You
with
gotta-
Ronaldo.
Stan, you gotta tell your wife to come in and like put her hands around so it can like be chopper blades, so we can see it'll get the whole feel.
Maybe he has a ceiling fan out there.
Yeah, get the
She
ceiling
might come
fan.
out and wave a bra. She might come out and wave a bra above her head. Well, that's about it. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you, Stan. I think
Portugal are gonna beat Italy.
Italy's a pretty well-rounded team. I think Italy's pretty well-rounded team. I'll go for Italy. 2-1 so far in the scoring. Gary?
I said Portugal.
I know. And I said Italy, and Tony said Italy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the fact that you guys are thinking Portugal, I think Portugal is gonna look like they're gonna win, but I think Italy's too sound, like we've been saying all along. They've been probably the most sound team coming in. I don't think it's gonna change. Portugal may score 2 goals, but it won't be enough.
Defending champions as well, Alonso. Portugal against Italy.
Yeah, and I think that Ronaldo is going to fire him up, and I think that he has a knack for showing up for big games. And let's not remember that last time they went to shootouts, right? Or was it just extra time? Was it shootouts?
When
Portugal beat France.
when Portugal beat France, and when in the European, it was a final. It was a long shot.
Right.
I think it was a long shot went in. Remember?
Was
the
it
final.
was
Portugal
it
won 1-0.
was it Sanchez that scored?
I don't know who scored. Can't remember.
Anyway, so I think it'd be one of those games that I think it'd be a long, drawn out game. I think it'd be in the extra time, I think Portugal will win.
Okay. 3-2. We've got Italy going through. Alonso, the last one. Croatia versus France.
Wow.
I think this is the banana game.
I think France are just too talented.
Replay of the World Cup final, right, Alonso?
Yeah, I think I think France is just too strong up front. But yeah, I think Mbappe is just too strong. I think that Benzema is just too good. I think Pogba is a cool guy, on the pitch, in the France uniform. So yeah, I think that he'll. I think France is just too good.
Yeah.
I think Croatia is just not good enough, or at least not that sound as a team.
And Don Juan agrees with you, France. They are too much for Croatia. Tony, as we mentioned earlier, Pogba with France, I think Stan mentioned, is different player than he is with Manchester United. I mean, it speaks to the partners he has in midfield as well and the players he has around him, and maybe the coach as well.
Yeah, I think it's for coach, it's for team. Like Stan said, he's two totally different players. That's why he needs to go probably back to France and play for PSG. But back to a game. Croatia is solid, but France is just better overall, though. Squeak out a win.
Yeah. 2 votes for France, Stan?
Yeah.
France, Croatia.
Croatia not without, are they? Croatia, do you know what I mean? What the fuck have they ever done? Nah. That's it. Do you know what I mean? See you later.
See you later, Croatia.
Yeah.
That's France in. Gary, I think France have got too much as well.
Yeah. Yep. Easy one.
France in
Next.
the semis. So we've got the Dutch, we got Italy, we got France, we got England. Somehow England made it all the way there. So the first semifinal is going to be England versus who's the other team? The Dutch, right? England versus the Dutch.
Mhm.
Tony, you want to go first?
My dark horse, Dutch.
The Dutch. The Dutch will beat England. Stan?
I actually think that England could beat Holland.
And thanks, Don. You are helping me keep on track here. England versus. You think England can beat Holland?
I feel they could
Yeah.
beat Holland. Yeah, I do. I think they could if Southgate, depending if he picks the right lineup and gives it a little bit of oomph, I think they could beat Holland. Because as I say, Holland they flattered to deceive. I said it earlier, right? They're the sort of team that they can go 2-0 up, and everyone's like getting all comfortable, thinking, oh yeah, and then they lose 4-2. They're very much like that, the Dutch team. Do you know what I mean? They blow hot and cold. They're a bit Arsenal-y in a way.
Yeah,
Very
we've always
Arsenal-y,
been that way,
Arsenal-y.
unfortunately.
Definitely. All right, so 1-1. I think the Netherlands are stronger than England, but it's going to be a real close game. So
Pick a team already.
the Netherlands. Gary's going to put the decider to Alonso.
See, what day is it going to be played on now? I like I said, I think the tough game for England is the first one. If they get over that one, then I think they're gonna roll. So I do believe they get past Germany. That should give them the confidence that they need. I'm going to keep rambling on until Tony starts screaming at me. Nah, but I think England will do it.
All right, so it's 2-2, Alonso. You get to
To
decide.
carry it on, Gary, you have to tell us
Oh,
what
come
beer
on.
you're drinking.
My turn, Tony.
What beer are you drinking, Gary?
My turn, Gary. Tony's my turn, Tony, okay?
Yeah. Well,
Go on, Lonzo.
So
What beer are you drinking, Gary?
I,
all right. Go ahead, Alonso. He's muted now.
yes. Okay, so I think England have too many young players that can make an impact, where Dutch don't. So I'm going for England.
Okay. England are in the final, Tony, and you unmuted yourself. How'd you do that?
Powerful. I escaped the penalty box and went out there and did a high.
How did England get to the final?
England, they're in the final stand, and they're going to meet Italy or France. Who have you got?
I
Flip a
passed
coin.
that to you. I got choose between France and Italy.
Yeah.
Oh, France.
Okay. Yeah, listen, I think if it gets to France versus Italy, France probably have a little bit too much. Gary?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I mean, I
Wait
think
for
Italy will eventually wear down. France has got too much. Even if they go to their bench, they can bring players on. I think. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the French.
Okay.
Like I said, Conte will be the deciding factor in that one.
Alonso, Italy versus France.
Yeah, I think that I think this Italy team is not built defensively like teams in the past. So I think France is just too strong for Italy to defend their strike, their attack. So I'll go for France.
Who's the Italian striker or strikers?
Locatelli, is it?
No, he's midfield. See, no one's shouting the name out. No one is shouting out. Oh yeah, it's because we don't know, do we? We don't. I don't know. That's why I asked the question. No one else has shouted out an answer.
That's why I think it's Conte is going to make the difference because he's going to shut down Locatelli, and then
I gotta
what's going on.
gotta get Tony's vote, or else you'll hold it against me.
I'm going with a team with a cock on their badge.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, he's right. The French team. All right, Tony. Final: England versus France. I don't know where they're playing the final, but England have got all the way to the final. They're going to play the French. Who's
In
winning?
Wembley.
Who's winning in Wembley?
They have a team with a cock on their badge.
God, come on, Tony. Come on, man.
It's a bird.
It's a cock.
Because
As
you're
opposed to,
Easter.
as opposed to, is that opposed to a team with a cock as a manager?
Yeah. Yeah. Dan, who have you got?
I don't even. How long was I away for? Because how did England get to the
Oh,
final?
wow.
How long was I? I thought I was only away for like 10 minutes. I was away for 10 years.
You weren't gonna. Germany wasn't gonna beat England. Sorry, dude. You missed it. Unless you got 3 votes.
Oh yeah,
I think Don had the tiebreaker in one of them.
I'd have to say if we got to the stage where England gets to the final, no matter who they've got, obviously my heart is going to go with England, right? Because I've never seen it happen. I've never seen it happen before, right? But you're talking about an England-French final. You know, the logic of it all just goes straight to France, right? For me. So,
All right.
you know, if I was actually going to France.
I think we all know England are maybe not equipped to win the competition. Gary?
Yeah, no, I have.
We probably go out on penalties.
I have England losing. Yeah, so I think England's going to lose. But yeah, I mean, I once again think it's going to be Southgate. So he's going to overthink it. He's going to probably overthink it and rest Saka and Grealish for the second half. By then, it'll be too late. That's what he's gonna do, something silly, all right?
Or we're like 3-0 down. He does an Arteta and he tries to bring Grealish and Saka on like the 85th minute. Like they can do something. Do you know what I mean? They can do something. You're like, no, mate.
Yeah. Alonso, France and England.
So I think Henderson's going to kick off above Buzz's head and
bring Kieran Gibbs in. Bring Kieran Gibbs into the England team.
Why not? Anyway, so I think Henderson's kick Pablo's head in, and I think Harry Maguire's going to score off of Pablo's head, and then it'll be 2-0 England.
You got something there with the Harry Maguire factor, because he could come in there and do what he usually does, right? In this case, it will go England's favor as opposed to United's favor.
Right. And Henderson is going to kick in Pablo's head, and then Saka's going to score 2 goals. And boom, there you have it.
So, listen, there we have it. France are going to win 2020 Euros, played in 2021. And there we have it. And Stan will be flying over the.
Dan has a bogey on his 6 again.
Stan will be flying over the stadium.
It sounds like he's just like you hit a little bit of turbulence there. This is Stan from Chopper.
Stan hit a jet stream.
It's flying over Wembley. It looks like England is. Is that England? Oh man, terrible! It's terrible down there. It's a mess.
Viva la France. So yeah.
Stands of a good year blood.
Oh, damn.
All right, so Gary, final thoughts on who you really think is going to win the Euros, and final thoughts on Arsenal, and what did I say? Carpe Diem. Got to get their act together.
Yeah, so I guess multiple things there to talk about. I would like to see England do it, but coming in, they just weren't they weren't the big favorites, right? So it was the France's. Italy was going to surprise some, so you could still see Italy maybe even making it to the finals, based on how they've been playing. But I think France has got too much, so I think it's still going to be France. In terms of Carpe Diem, I won't be surprised if nothing happens. Let's just say that it'll be the start of the season. We'll be sitting here going, "Oof." Well, the Ben White deal fell through. The Lakonga deal fell through. The Kamazinga deal fell through.
And we could.
Xhaka said no.
Still
I'm
here.
not leaving.
Still here.
He wants to fight for the spot. Bellerin is like, you know what? Forget it. I still got some more trees to plant. I want to fight for my spot. Guendouzi is in limbo. Saliba is stuck.
Guendouzi is still putting whoopee cushions on Mikel Arteta's seat in his office and
He keeps looking around like
balancing buckets of cold water above the changing room door when people walk in. That's all he does, isn't he? He's like a little trickster.
Hey, Gary, you forgot Torreira.
Oh, and Torreira, yeah, he wants out, but he's not,
And then
Torreira still misses his mum's cooking.
and then toward the end of the year, Arteta can tell us he could have all the players he could have bought, but he didn't. We were so close to
we're this close to buying Messi, Ronaldo, and Mbappe. It was so close, and we just couldn't go through.
Arsenal's best 11 never signed.
Laka and Alba injured, Eddie up front.
Oof, that is come on. No, you know what? That doesn't even have to happen. You still got Balogun and Martinelli. Because if you drop to Eddie, that means you've gone to your fifth striker.
Gary,
as far as I'm concerned.
You forgot about William.
Oh my gosh! So you see, there's so much to look forward to, and like, when do we get to smile through a transfer window? That's going to be the question.
There's work to be done, Gary.
You're gonna see Sons of Arteta Volume 2, Season 2.
Alonso, your final thoughts about the Euros and Carpe Diem for Arsenal?
Yeah. So my final thought, I honestly want England to do well, because let's not forget the World Cup is coming up soon, and I think if anyone want to make a statement, the statement is now. And the youngsters are playing pretty well, right? And we're Jack Grealish being in that nomination as well. So, Southgate has to get it right. Like Arteta, they got to get it right, because this is a make or break tournament and or season for both of them. And it's been a fun Euro championship so far. So hopefully we get transfers in soon. Ben White seems like the guy that's going to be most looked upon. And as far as the other ones, like Basuma and the other guy,
the Congo or Parmesan?
Yeah.
Sambi.
So yeah, we're going to hope that they come soon.
Sambi Lakanga.
And soon, because Arteta needs to have a successful season.
Yeah, I mean, let's. I'll just add into that before I go to Tony and Stan. Yeah, hopefully we can continue the progress we had toward the end of last season, and I predicted Belgium and the Netherlands getting to the final, and I think Belgium have a great chance of winning it with Lukaku up front. Tony, final thoughts on Euros and Carpe Diem?
I think two teams have a lot to prove, Belgium and England. I think Southgate's a handbrake England. I don't think England's going to do anything until they get rid of Southgate. And I think Belgium's a fall up short, and that generation's never to show up to the potential they look like they had. And going to Arsenal, we need to sign at least 3 in the midfield. I think we need to spin big, or we're going to struggle. Because, like England, we're handbrake by the manager.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be surprising. I think we're going to be surprised by how much Arsenal spends and the players we bring in. I think we're going to get more players than we thought we did, and at a much higher price than we thought we would.
Yeah. Yeah, and I that's probably not a good thing, because as somebody said in the chat section, I think it was Steve Denham, we're going to get charged a premium for these players, and we're going to pay a premium. We're not getting a lot of money back for them. Stan, Euros and Carpe Diem, Stan?
What's Carpe Diem?
Seize the day.
Seize the day. Arsenal. Arsenal need to do.
Seize the day.
Seize the day.
Fucking Latin or something.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay, fair enough. Fucking hell. Get a bit highbrow in it. All right. I went to a fucking comprehensive school in Peckham. What do you want from me? Do you know what I mean? The fuck, Latin? Jesus. Anyway, my school. What kind of school did you go to? What school did you go? I bet you went to one of them schools they play cricket a lot, didn't you?
I just heard it. No, rugby. I just heard
Stan
it.
doesn't know Latin. He just knows Cockney. He doesn't speak Cockney. The rest of it.
I thought it sounded pretty intellectual.
Carpe Diem. I remember
Carpe
seeing it
Diem.
come up a few. I saw you bringing it up a few times. I thought that was somebody's name in the chat box.
Well, just
Seriously,
like
I thought
just like
Carpe Diem. He's got a lot to
your
say for
name is
himself.
I think Stan, bring the helicopter down. I think you're going a little too high.
I'm up in the clouds, man. I'm up in the clouds. So sorry. The question was.
Carpe. Okay, Carpe Diem means seize the day, and Arsenal need to do that when it comes to.
What does Arsenal need to do this summer?
Well, they need to fucking pull their finger out of their asses for fucking one thing, you know, and get ahead of the curve for once. You know, I mean, do they have a plan? They've told us, oh, we've had a plan for months. We know exactly what we're doing. So, as I said earlier, you know, I'm one of these people that I keep my thoughts to myself, and I see what's going on social media and that, but I wait for the window to close, and then I'm like, right. Now you're going to get both barrels if it's shit, or you're going to get a round of applause if you've done a good job, because you never know. Who knows what's going to happen on that last day or what's going to go down. So I'm as nervous as anybody. I am. I'm as nervous as anybody, but I'm just going to try and pipe down until the window closes.
What's your gut tell you? You think we're going to do the majority of business before the middle of July or not?
Well, it's difficult because it seems like, as I say, I mean, we're in talks with my nan. We're talking to everybody. I mean, there's how many? It's trying to weed out what's real, and what's what's rubbish, or even the smokescreen. And it seems that the only solid one that we can really hang our hat on seems to be Ben White. Everything else is still speculation. You know, Lokonga. I mean, I never even heard of him. I don't even know who he is. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm like, we're signing Lokonga. We've signed Lokonga. I'm like, who? Well, that means shit to me. So, you know, so far it looks like we've got one in the bag. And again, it seems to be a position that we weren't crying out for. And as my old friend, the bearded Gooner would say, this is the sort of signing that's kind of reminds me like, you know, your house is on fire while you're mowing your lawn. You've not got your priorities right. Do you know what I mean? It's what it seems like to me. But as I say, we could have a big war chest, 250 million to spend, and this is just one of the first of many big signings we're going to bring. So I'm going to try and bite my lip until the end of the window.
Yeah, and this is the problem with us as Arsenal fans now. The club has not shown us the ambition. We don't have the trust in the club, and as Don Juan says here, I don't have a clue with Arsenal anymore. Until they show us something different, until they show us, you know, a track record. But listen, I think this season is going to start building up now. It's going to start moving.
You can't say that. Come on. Just a second ago, you said, show me something different. And then you just said you're expecting to see something different.
I said, I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen. But
you're letting Uncle Artie down.
Who's Art? Who's Artie?
Artie. Go ahead. Is that what you call him? Is that what you call Uncle Arteta? Artie?
Oh, I guess I could. Maybe. I'm going to bring Alonso back in. Gary, thanks for joining.
Thank you. Everybody in the chat, thanks for joining us. Everybody on the replay, thanks for listening to us. Hope you enjoyed it. I guess we'll do it again another time. Hope you come back and see us again. Thank you. Thank you, Ray, Tony.
What were you drinking,
Dan,
Gary?
Alonso. Huh?
I want to know what you're drinking.
Oh, and today's beer
Mine.
Founders. What is this? Founders API. All day API. Oops, right here. So that was my flavor of the day.
Tony, thanks for joining. I didn't skip over you today, and I asked you all the questions that I needed to.
Yeah, you just made me pick teams and give no insight into the games.
You're going too long. Stop it.
Contagious there. Alonso, thanks for joining as always, Alonso.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And what are we going to call this guy? Airwolf, Top Gun.
Maverick.
Maverick.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. I always enjoy talking to you, lads. So yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens as we move forward in the Euros and see if there's anything to talk about, and let's see if there's any more signings that are going to happen.
What
And
about the
Don
traffic?
Juan, really good to have you here, Don Juan, as we move into season 4 here. Tony,
What?
you were shouting something?
Oh, I was asking Stan what the traffic was on Channel 11 in Vancouver.
Yeah, we're pretty light today. Yeah, you can get over Lionsgate Bridge without any problems. There was a crash at about 5:30, but that's been cleared up now. So you've got a clear journey home, everyone.
I hope that means something for Arsenal as well.
We're a full service pod. We do it all. We got helicopters,
Turbulence.
Jet pilots.
jet pilot.
All right, you've been watching Arsenal Fan Circle and the crew, the flight crew here, the cabin crew, and we'll see you on the next one.
Time to
Sunday.
pull the parachute.
We'll see you Sunday. Take care, everyone. Be safe out there. Until the next time.